This is the time come together. Oh yeah. The public to its 2025 annual convention taking place right in the first state of Delaware. The weekend begins with the meet and greet on Friday, October 3rd. Time is from 6 p.m. straight up to 10 p.m. The address is Sawyer House African Grill, 150 South Dopoh Highway in Newcastle, Delaware. On Saturday, October 4th, starts with the business meeting that will include the most talked about national election. It's going down from 8 a.m. straight up to 2 p.m. The address is 100 Wilton Boulevard in Newcastle, Delaware. Then the annual fundraiser gala starts at 6 p.m. This is the most anticipated night of great vibes to keep Torgbean High School alive. Come on, come and support the fundraiser, experience great music, good food and drinks as you interact with great people of your kind. The address is 24 Blavings Drive in Newcastle, Delaware. The ordinary 6 p.m. For more information, give the organization a call through Rachel Cooper, 1026. Man, Washington Door, 843-6817. I'm yours to the Chief Francis Torgbean. Hey, please make plans to meet me in Delaware. 8 half is graceful grass. It's right now. Come on. Get some love and support to Torgbean High School. Meet me in the first state of Delaware and let us support our one and only Torgbean High School. Love is all we need to make it stand.
A mother's heart shines brightest when her child, once sick, is smiling and healthy again. Moments like these remind us that healthcare is more than medicine. It's love, care, and hope restored.
Keep Liberia safe forever.
Annual Healthcare Gala 2025. An evening to celebrate healing, honor those who light the path of compassion, and inspire a brighter tomorrow. Date, November 1st, 2025. Time, 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. Venue, DeVita World, HQ, 2016th Street, Denver, CO8-0202. Theme Lighting the Way Forward tickets. VIP $80, standard $50. Join us for a night filled with love, elegance, and impact, where every story of healing reminds us why we care and every step forward shines a light for the future. Reserve your place today, and let's walk together toward hope and healing. Care Africa.
So welcome to the closing argument here on Truth 96.1. If you are just joining us, welcome. My name is Myean Torgbean. I'm your regular host and presenter of the closing argument. So you just listen to some commercial from our commercial file here. So today is the 1st of October 2025. Today is the first edition of this month. We starting a new month here on the closing argument. So welcome to this edition. So tonight we have our guest. We will see our guest on in a minute for now. But as it stands, I'm have in the back here Chief Tomalin George, and I also have. So let me see whether I can bring Siriki or okay, Siriki is already on. Yeah. So Siriki, welcome to the show. Siriki, I think you are muted.
Hey man, how you doing, brother?
I'm okay. How is it?
Yeah, doing wonderful. All
That's
good.
good.
Yeah.
Aski Gary.
Yeah, not bad. What about you? How is Liberia?
We doing well here. Just like the weather from last night up
Okay.
to today. Yeah, we've been experiencing rain here, and most
Oh,
especially the next day. Yeah, but everything
okay.
is going on good from our end here.
Oh, that's good to hear. Yeah, we too. It's been rainy here. Uh, this evening, but in the rain already season, but we don't experience a heavy pool of rain for like whole day or whole night, like what you guys usually experience in Liberia there. Well, good to be on the show today. I think Leo is the guest today, right?
Yeah.
Leo Johnson. Okay, that's great. Good to be here. How you doing, brother Tomalin?
Hey, the Vice President of the Honorable Seleke.
Yeah, how you doing?
Seleke, Alakoy, next week, hit me up, man. I want to bless you. Hit me next week.
No worries, no worries. I will.
Yeah, you gotta be
Yeah,
blessed. I'm
thank you so much.
very proud of you, young man.
So
Yeah.
let also shout out to some of our Nigerians brothers because today is Independence Day.
Oh, today the Nigerian independence, yeah.
Yeah. So today is the independence of Nigeria. I think I don't know the exact year, but today is the independence day. So
1960 something. Oh. Let me see.
happy independence to
Over there.
our Nigerians
Yeah,
brothers and
today is a great day. Today is the birthday of the former president of the Republic of Liberia, His Excellency Ambassador George Myean, and also the CEO of the closing argument, the Reverend Dr. Henry G. Peabody. Two great men celebrating their birthday today, and Myean. The former president made some remarks at his birthday today. Can you play the president remarks? The guest will be coming on in the next 17 minutes, so we can use the time while we play some stuff. The former president today he's celebrating his 59th birthday. Next year he'll be 60, hitting the 60 mark. We gotta pray. Tomorrow, gotta pray to get to that year, man. It's all good. Yeah. So, but today, we are going to take advantage of the Freedom of Information Act to compel the government of Liberia to tell us about that FOIA building. It's important. We're not going to allow them to just get away with it because they have the honor obligation to talk to us about it. You know, it's very important that they talk to us about it. And then also making news today, the Chief Justice of the Republic of Liberia. People are calling for his resignation because of, I'm told he's in violation of Article 5. But the Chief Justice, when the Chief Justice says, when it comes to the associate magistrate, there is nothing. We're quoting the Chief Justice, Jerome Gayman. He's saying, when it comes to the associate magistrate, there is nothing in the law that says the president cannot appoint one. Okay. My son is of age. Okay. He is in law school. I recommended him to the president. And if the president saw it fit to nominate him, I see nothing wrong with that. The president is not wrong. Appointing law school students in this country has precedent. Moreover, my son is a Liberian. He is entitled to work. If you, the trial judge's head, can serve in government, your husband can serve in government, and your brother-in-law can serve in government, then what is wrong with my son serving in government? My son has done nothing wrong, and the president has done nothing wrong. If the trial judges can show me any law that says the president of Liberia cannot appoint an associate magistrate who is not a lawyer, I will resign my post. I'm disappointed in the trial judges of Liberia. The head of the trial judges knows me. If you have any issues, you should have let me know. If you live in a glass house, don't throw stones. This man is justifying the son's appointment in Lofa, doing what he said in Lofa. Can you ready for the former president's statement? You can let me know. Just put it up.
So let's play the Chief Justice, then we will get
play the man, the Chief Justice Gayman justifying his son's appointment, nepotism.
All right.
And she's the one I want to hear. You got press people here?
Look at that.
Yes, young. What I want to say, I want the press people to get it clear. Because it's all over, people are calling me everywhere. Few weeks ago, I recommended some maestros to the president. Most of them were law school graduates, and a few of them were not law school graduates. Among the maestros is my son. You're entering a 10-year. And she's the one I want to hear. You got press people here? Yes, young. What I want to say, I want the press people to get it clear. Because it's all over, people are calling me everywhere. Few weeks ago, I recommended some maestros to the president. Most of them were law school graduates, and a few of them were not law school graduates. Among the maestros is my son. Whether why basic. You just completed second year law school, you enter a 10-year. The president of Liberia appointed these people. I received a letter from honor, capacity as the president, that the president has appointed non-lawyer as a secondary magistrate and associate magistrate, and that was wrong, and that they wanted to intervene, advise the president. Next on Facebook, I saw the press release issue. When I say I appointed some who is not a lawyer as a secondary magistrate, and the judge. So I got friends all over the world. Everybody called, what? I said, well, thank God. I'm going to where her honor is. First and foremost, the law, the constitution of the country gave power to the president to appoint all presidential appointees. He doesn't have to get advice from anybody. But when it comes to the judiciary, he appoints the chief justice, associate justice, judges, magistrates, and associate magistrates. But when it comes to magistrates, the law says the Supreme Direct Magistrate shall be a graduate of law school. So if the president appoints anybody who is not a graduate of law school, I, as a chief justice, will respectfully go to him and say, Mr. President, they want you in error. They just require law school graduate. But when it comes to associate magistrate, there is nothing in the law. The law has to be silent. And you must know as a lawyer that what the law does not give, it holds. Meaning that the president of Liberia has authority to appoint anybody as an associate magistrate. And the lady sent to me, I don't see one person that the president appointed as Supreme Direct Magistrate who is not a lawyer. But the 4 or 5 persons who were appointed as associate magistrate who are not a lawyer, that's what they put it. My son needs a second. My son is aged, he's a Liberian, he is in law school, and I nominated to the president, and the president sees fit to appoint him. I do not see anything wrong with that, madam. Your Honor, I didn't see anything wrong with that. The president is not wrong. He has not violated the law, so I cannot intervene, I cannot advise. Besides that, we say that magistrates who are not even high school graduates who are still on judicial payroll. The fact that we decided we train college graduates to be associate magistrate because we cannot afford to get lawyers now, did not take the power from the president to appoint associate magistrate. And since the law did not say that he must be a law school graduate, he has the authority to do so. That's my interpretation of the law. That's my interpretation of the law. Besides that, appointing law school students as associate magistrate have precedent in this country. I've practiced law for 27 years now, and I saw it and see it going on. So the president was not wrong in appointing my son. More besides, as I said, my son is a Liberian entitled to the job. If the question is why Bessie is a chief justice and his son is also serving the government, then I will just refer you to yourself. They say one who lives in a glass house cannot trust food, right? Is it so? If you show one finger to somebody, 4 is showing to you. You are a resident judge. Your husband, Councillor Jerome Gayman, is an assistant minister of taxation. His brother, Seleke Kromah, is a member of the Good Governance Commission. So if you say Bessie something, I say, then you resign. Then you resign. I have not violated any law. The president has not violated any law. If you can serve the government, your husband serves the government, and your brother-in-law serves the government, then what's wrong with Bessie serving the government when you qualify? If the president has appointed him as a Supreme Direct Magistrate, I will tell the president illegal. I will tell the president that. But I done nothing wrong, my son has done nothing wrong, and the president has done nothing wrong. I want to let Your Honor and the trial judges to know that I have done nothing wrong. If you show me any law that says that the president of Liberia cannot appoint a non-lawyer as the associate magistrate, I will resign my position today. I challenge you. If the trial judges show me any law that says the president of Liberia cannot appoint an associate magistrate who is not a lawyer, I will resign the job I'm doing. Now, you show him now, I will resign before I leave from here. I know what the law is. It is unfortunate that judges who are supposed to be interpreting law will not understand this elementary principle interpretation. and try to make statements that will undermine the reform I started to introduce in the judiciary. It is quite unfortunate. That is the reason why my administration will ensure that judges are trained continuously so that they can know
That's where it ends, Chief.
Look, the Chief Justice Yami Bese, we were speaking to some lawyers too, and they have a problem. So a lawyer just told me that you're in violation of Article 5, that talks about nepotism and all this. They have other qualified lawyers. Why only your son? Why must you recommend your son? That's why they're calling for a resignation. The way you even speaking, it seems as though you'll be taking directive from the executive mansion. That's how it seems. If you can say this, that means you'll be taking directive from the executive mansion. The way what he's saying. So man, just imagine defending so why your son resigned today? President Boga received your son resignation. Why? Because you know it's not right. The pressure on you, so you have to do it. So the Chief Justice I think you are in error, and you need people are calling for your resignation, and we know it won't go nowhere. But the idea for the fact that people are calling for resignation, so rings a bell. I mean, why you won't put your son there? So tomorrow if a case comes out that goes before the Supreme Court, your son is involved in that case, and what happened? Will you recuse yourself? No. Let's just stop joking with us. Stop joking. Myean, you got a former president remarks video?
Not yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
I'm still working on it to see where we can get it out.
Yeah, we take care of that stuff tomorrow, man. Let me take care of that stuff tomorrow. Yeah.
Okay, Chief.
Yeah, because we can't operate that way. Yeah, so that's the problem, and we're in trouble. Everyone's in trouble.
So one of the issue that drew my attention was when he was making that statement that if you don't know the law, I know the law. So that statement is one of the thing that drew my attention, because if you say others don't know the law, everyone is not perfect. At times maybe you might be making mistake, because it's all about law. It's all about quotation. Maybe you might be thinking about another quotation, then looking at that to make that type of statement. I think it's something like you have to go back to come out with another statement, because as a chief justice in a country, coming out with such a statement saying that my son is a Liberian, he reached the age, he's a law student in the law school, going for a second or third year. So I think it's something like even though everyone have the right as a Liberians to, you are entitled to get a job. It's not what we are saying, but the reality is that we have to go by the rightful channel. So the former president voice is already prepared now. So I think if you're ready,
let's hear remarks on his birthday today.
Okay, so here's the former president.
Fantastic one.
Yes.
Well, I just want to use the time to say thank you for coming here to wish me a happy birthday. 50 now officially today. A lot of people, well, they will come and pass. I'm honored that you can come in this evening. I know it's a regiment for you. I want to thank you. I want to bless God for keeping me up to 59 years old. I say that because my father did not reach Glory be to God. Thank you. God bless you all. Let's enjoy it. Let's enjoy it. Play music, play. Play music. Music.
All right, that's it there.
That's the voice of the former president of the Republic of Liberia, His Excellency President George Myean, speaking at his birthday celebration today. Today, the former president turned 59. And you heard him saying his father, he was thankful to God because his father even did not reach that age. So he's grateful to God for life and health. President Weah is a blessed guy, blessed man, and the grace of God is upon him. No matter what you want to say, he's someone who is known around the world. There's nowhere in this world you go, you talk about George Weah, you won't get attention. He was well known. He's very, very popular. Don't forget, this man was able to conquer the world of soccer during his soccer career. He conquered the world. The thing, what he did is no African player have done it so far. To win in one single season, the European Football of the Year, African Football of the Year, the world best player, and the Ballon d'Or. He won it. He would have won it twice had the issue with the guy from Costa Rica, who I think who insulted him. Yeah, and so he would have won it twice in a row, but because of that incident, he did not win it. But so take it or leave it. I've been in close proximity where I saw this man greatness shown. There was a time we're in Florida one time, and we're trying to enter we're going to some event. The line was so long, people were watching, people were in the line, and then all he did, somebody just said to the security people, George Weah is in that car, he want to come in. And the guys came for him. The security came, escorted all of us, we were about 12 with him. Well, passed that line, went and got in there. And they imagined this guy they called Shaquille O'Neal. Then he was playing for the Miami Heat. All that at night. And somebody told Shaq said, "Oh, George Weah is here." He said, "Where is he?" And then he went to him, took his cell phone, a red cell phone, and put his number in it. And told him, say, "Well, I play for the Heat in Miami." And we said, "Oh yeah, I live in Pembroke Pines, right here." So, but then we got a hookup. And this is the person we're talking about. So, yeah, he kind of politics we talk, but George Weah, I tell you, he is somebody. He's great. Take it or leave it. I mean, those who oppose him will tell you that if he could enter somewhere right now, he will get attention. So I want to wish the former president a happy birthday and best wishes. We pray that God will continue to bless him and give him long life and good health. Also today is the birthday of our CEO for TCA, the closing argument, the Reverend Dr. Henry G. Peabody. Peabody is today celebrating his birthday, and I want to wish him happy birthday too. And all those who celebrating their birthday worldwide. But we dedicate this day to the former president and our man Peabody. So as soon as the guests come, we get the guests will be coming in. As soon as we see the guests, we'll bring it in and we'll get the show going. Today, the guest is Mr. Leo Nupuru Lekpedi Johnson, the CEO of Empowerment Square. I remember when Leo started that project, I think it was 2022, if I'm mistaken. He took me into that site by the town hall. That time was just They were just different. They haven't even gone with. They were just doing the foundation. And he told me, say, he will be here by next year or so. The next 2 years, we'll have this place up. He showed me the architectural work about it, and I saw it. And indeed, today, as a multi-million-dollar project, Leo was able to raise funds, and today Liberians are benefiting from it. So I met Leo recently at the Liberian Diaspora Conference. He was one of the facilitators of one of the sessions. He did very well. And he's someone who is very passionate about our country. And make no mistake, I think his best days are still ahead. And we'll be engaging tonight. He's prepared to take any questions, and he'll share some light about his project and so forth. This man, he's been through all the entire country. I think he told me that 2 counties he wasn't able to get because of the role. But he been to almost 13 counties. So we'll bring Leo Lekpeli Nupolu Johnson, the CEO of Empowerment Square, who is our guest today on the closing argument. Mr. Johnson, good to see you, brother, and want to say welcome. It's always a pleasure to engage you, and we look forward to having a very interactive engagement with you. I want to recognize the Honorable J. Victor Nagbe, the TMC Northeast Vice Chair, the man who is leading the effort to order the legislature now. And we are going to, as I said again, so now we've got to plan that program where we have a day to talk about the auditing legislature. Because I know last time Mr. Beze was here, he said, the day we order the legislature, people will run from that place.
Absolutely, Chief. It's good to be on. Let me welcome Leo. My man, Leo, you following me everywhere I go, you there. What happened? It's good to have you on, Leo. It's been a while. Seriously, welcome. And Myean, what's up, man? Say hi to everyone in the back there. Welcome again, Leo.
Thank you.
And thank you, Tomalin, thank you as well. Yeah, Victor, somehow you must have ending up in the same spaces. I don't know how that's happening.
So, Mr. Johnson, Seleke, you got anything to say also, Mr. Nagbe, before Leo gets his opening remarks?
Yeah, Chief, I'm sorry. I was just doing a green, but yeah, I'd like to join you in wishing the former president, a happy birthday. And I agree with you. He's really blessed. I mean, we all know he talks about his background, come from humble beginnings. And I saw a photo of him today. I think in the snow at one point in time, hanging out with Queen Diana, Princess, I think Diana or someone like, this guy has been everywhere, all because of his feet. And God just blessed him. And, of course, he ended up being president as well of the Republic of Liberia. So I have to congratulate him. I'm happy for him, and I wish God's blessings on him. I'd like to also wish Dr. Peabody, our own, pastor here on set, our colleague and our, fellow panelists who is doing so much work in Liberia, a happy birthday as well. And let me welcome our audience. Jane, don't just stand here and be typing. You better share the show. If you can't do it, then you go somewhere else. I know she got me type back.
Well, I see at least Leo. You see, Leo have brought people. A lot of people tuning tonight. Because that's why when you have a quality guest, it draws the attention of people, and so Leo, so people want to listen to Leo because of his work. But Seleke,
Yeah. Again, a happy birthday to the former president and Dr. Peabody. Wishing both of them many more years to come. Again, Brother Leo, good to see you. A few weeks ago, you was here with us in Kigali. So good to see you again on the show. And honestly, you're doing a great job. Unfortunately, when I was in Liberia, I didn't really get to hear more about your center around the Painsville. But it's one of my dreams whenever I go back to really visit that place because we have a lot of learning centers here too in Kigali, similar to what you have there, exactly the same facility, the environment, internet wise, and all of that. So I would really like to visit that place whenever I'm lucky to go back home. But good Good to be here, and looking forward to a great conversation with you. Thank you.
Yes, before Leo, I have a pic. I hope I find a picture. I'll find a picture when Leo took me to that site, and it was just we saw the dirt at the time, and honestly, I was like, when he showed me the whole master plan, he said this is the kind of structure he want to put up. I'll be honest with you. I was like, what? The guy, he taking big, he dreaming big. when you get it, that small thing you want to do, the guy needs to cost a lot of money, but Leo is a result-oriented person. Leo is a passionate person for Liberia and driven to help transform our country. And the 4 miles of that country, he's one of those who can always look forward to and they know that Liberia best days are still ahead. And last time, so when I go to Liberia in November, I would definitely visit that site to see where I saw the dedication. I watched the dedication, and I know the former president, Madam Saliba, was there too. The president now, President Bogart, was there for that dedication, and so I witnessed it. But Leo, it's all yours. Your opening remarks, and welcome again.
Yeah, no, Tomalin, thank you, and also thank you to all of your panelists here. Good to see you, Seleke. I saw you a few weeks ago in Kigali when I had the chance to engage with Liberian students out there when I was there. And then Victor Nagbe, good to see you again as well. And also to Myean and Torgbean as well, who does the high work there in the back end. Thanks to all of you. But no, Tomalin, it was great seeing you in Washington, D.C. at the Diaspora Conference. We had a chance to chat, and it's an honor. Thank you for the invitation. I know you've always wanted to get me on, so I'm glad you followed through on it and was able to get me on. Quickly, I would just say I'm looking forward to the conversation. Like Tomalin rightly said, my name is Leo Likwele Nupolu Johnson. I am the founder and chief empowerment officer of Empowerment Squared in Canada. Actually, in 2027, Empowerment Squared will be 20 years old.
Wow.
We run a massive operation. A lot of people don't know. We have up to 30 full-time staff in Canada, Ghana, and Liberia, inclusive over 25 staff in Canada. We have 2 locations in Canada. So I know people see the Liberian side of the work and they get caught up in it, but we run a massive operation here as well. But I'm looking forward to the topics for tonight. There are a series of things we'll be talking about. I'm covering the Learning Center, but some exciting next steps and some other exciting activities that we're doing. All I can say is, Tomalin, I'm grateful to be here because many times you go to Liberia with big things, people tell you it's not possible. Sometimes it's not because they mean bad, just because of the previous experiences and what people have gone through. So I'm glad that we're here today talking about what was once not possible that is now standing as a reality.
Thank you. So let's get straight on. Leo, I'll start with my first question before we get to the empowerment and project. They just ended Liberian Diaspora Conference because people were saying they wanted to hear from you, your perspective about that conference. What were your expectations going to the conference, and after the conference, what's your thought right now about where we are about that conference?
Yeah, first of all, congratulations to all the organizers, especially all the young people that were involved, putting on anyone who's done an event before. That's why I don't even like events, because I find them to just be too much work and even the cost that goes with it. So congratulations. But on the conference itself, now I heard there have been other diaspora conferences. This is my first one of this nature that I have attended. I know in the past I've heard there have been other ones. I think, first of all, it was incredible to see the number of Liberians that came together from different sectors. There were all kinds of people there, some of whom I talked to. I also want to be thankful for the fact that there were multiple stakeholders, especially from the government. What I would propose and love to see more of, instead of the government just telling us all the things that they have done and they're doing, I would have loved to see some very tangible offerings from the government to say, here are 3 or 4 particular offerings that if Liberians in the diaspora were ready today, here's who you talk to, here's where you go, and here's the dividend from the offering, or here's how we've made it easy. A lot of it was very general, to be honest, and finding information about Liberia is not the easiest thing. We don't have robust, updated websites. It's not like somewhere easy you can just go and pull the information if you don't know people. I also think highlighting specific experts, both from Liberia and the diaspora that are not in government. Being in government, you have a lot of things at your disposal. I felt like the people who should have been giving a lot of time were not giving a lot of time. We hear from government officials all the time. Every week there's a MICAT press briefing and all of that. I would have loved to see the panel discussions really honing in on people who have succeeded in the space, sharing their experiences, lesson learned, but also informing government officials who were there what they are supposed to be doing to facilitate success, both from people in the diaspora and people in Liberia. But I think the panels felt like they were rushed more because there were way too many speeches. I don't find a lot from these speeches. I find more value in an actual panel interactive discussions where people have the chance to drill in. But again, as this is my first one I attended, and I'm glad they had a survey link for people to give feedback about what needs to be done to get better. So I think there's a lot of room for growing, but kudos. They pulled it off. I have to admit, I appreciate the environment. The environment forced the quality of some of the things that happened. And thanks to, Ambassador Emmett Dunn, who I know very well, that I work with very closely, was just appointed, 6 months ago or 7 months ago. And I think the intentions behind this is better. And it can only get better from here if there's intentional outcomes that we are all looking for. But it was an honor to be a part of it.
Okay, let me give Seleke the opportunity to ask this question.
Yeah, once again, good to meet you, Brother Leo. So before, I go into my question with the Empowerment Square, I want to ask you real quick, brother. I've been seeing a lot of posts, Facebook posts recently. I think you went to Liberia and you visited CEO on Kerry Street. Is there any political ambition you've, come up with recently, because I see my dear brother Katuma, I think he's a very good supporters of you, saying District 5. So I just want you to expound on that a little bit.
Yeah, no, thank you. First, not just you, I visited the Nelson Mandela Intellectual Center in District 17 as well. So just set the record straight on that as well. So here is the first thing. It's amazing how for the last 13 years, I've been working in Liberia, across Liberia, very actively. Like Tomalin said, Tomalin has seen me all the time. I go live, I talk about political things all the time. Nobody cared to ask if I have political ambition. But I visit one intellectual center with our brothers and sisters, and now I'm getting all the questions. So to answer your question directly, Seleke, let me say it this way. I will always have political ambition till the day I die. I did not negotiate with God to be born in Liberia. I was born, I opened my eye, I was in Liberia. In fact, we should encourage our young, brilliant, if everything people say we're doing are the right things, then we should be encouraging those kind of people to go into politics. So I think that's the wrong question about whether I have political ambition. The question I wrestle with when I go to bed every night is, one, am I competent? Do I have what it takes? Am I able to deliver given the circumstances? Those are the kind of questions I wrestle with. Not about whether I have political ambition. I won't forget it. We all have the right as a birthright to have political ambition until the day we die. And by the way, people like Otoma King and other people out there who see me in a certain light, that is their absolute right to be able to express it the way they want. But I would say to you, to answer your question directly, you too, Seleke, our job as young people should not only be to support people to become politicians. If you feel, Seleke, you have the ability to lead Liberia in any capacity, let me say it to you today. Don't wait till you turn 60. That retirement age time. Start cultivating that now and do the work that is required. I've said it. Political office in Liberia should not be taken for joke and play toy. There should be at least 10 years to 15 years of absolute track record of people who want to ascend to the higher office, because guess what? It is difficult. It is complicated. It's not easy to be in elected office. So ambition, from the day I was born in Liberia, that's my inalienable right. And I will reserve that ambition. Whether I act on it or not, that will be a thorough investigation as to whether I have what it takes and whether I'm capable and well positioned to deliver on it.
Thank you, brother. And honestly, I wish you all the best. Wishing you well in your quest, for this ambition you've publicly declared tonight on the closing agreement that you're aspiring for in Liberia. So I wish you all the best. But let me come real quick to the Empowerment Square. I've seen different events being heard at that place. specifically with Mariah, she usually go there every Friday to do a in-person law engagement, educating, Liberians about the right and all of that. But what is this empowerment squad about other than people going there to have different conference, students going there to, maybe do some research? What is it about? For someone, maybe other students who are into tech, is the empowerment squad partnering with organizations or institutions out of Liberia that they can be able to provide freelance opportunity for them, so that Liberians too can say, what, I'm in Liberia, but I'm working in Canada, on a remote basis.
Yeah, no, thank you. So
into that.
Yeah, so no, thank you. So Empowerment Square as an organization is focused on improving learning outcomes in all of its forms. Academic, non-academic, vocational, all the different pieces. So like I said, our largest operation is in Canada. We support close to 1,000 or over 1,000 people in Canada every year. We've been in Liberia doing a lot of work for 13 years, and I will give you one of our projects no one talked about is the small business project called HOPE, Harnessing Opportunity to Promote Entrepreneurship. So in 2021, we went to Liberia, recruited about 86 young, what we call petty traders, like those kids selling around. And through the MasterCard Foundation, secure funding to put them through a 3 to 4 months robust training. Not anything crazy. We took all of the petty trading they were already doing and teaching them how to turn it into a business plan, how to grow it from your little wheelbarrow market to a table market, from a table market to a shop. They all completed it, and each of them got $400 US as direct investment because of their success. And I can tell you today, I've visited a lot of them. Up to 65% of all of them have made significant improvements as a result of the training and investment. We did another round. This time around, we went to high school, we went to vocal mission school. Because a lot of our young people in high school are already selling. Either they are selling to help their family or selling to pay their school fees, that they're hustling around. So we focus on high school in vocal mission school. We took another, I think totally we're done, we did 200 or close to that, I think, from there. Trained them again, and each of them got another $400 US. And we just finished another cohort as we speak. So that's one of the outcomes that we are improving. So incubating small businesses, because I've accused Seleke that, let's be honest, the people who pass around in cute little dresses and whatever in Liberia or suits, for me, are not the real entrepreneurs. The real entrepreneurs are those in real market, Douala market, and Wall Street market. The people who can manage on $60 worth of inventory and send 5 children to school and still feed the household and still manage to do it. But we've neglected them, right? Because they don't seem to be fancy or they don't have academic education. We don't equip their expertise to be entrepreneurship. So that's where we're focused. Come to the Learning Center, which is what you're asking about. My goal was to build Liberia's first properly built learning center. There are two things. There's a difference between a learning center and a library. So we have 2 libraries in the space. We have a dedicated children's library, which is providing all educational resources for children, curated exclusively for kids. We have an adult library, which is providing curated access to educational materials for adults, computers, unlimited access to internet, rooms for meetings, conference spaces, small business incubation center. So we have a co-working space where small entrepreneurs who can afford to pay big overhead costs can actually rent spaces at a very affordable cost per month to be able. So there are already some young entrepreneurs there. So we've built a learning center, and that's what learning centers do. So the libraries are a big component of it, but we are incubating entrepreneurship and innovation. So we're not coming to help people. It's not a relief. It's an opportunity to inspire innovation in young people in Liberia. And I can say to you, demand is already our problem. Hundreds of young people from programming or whatever are over there every day because they have unlimited access to internet and top-level computers, including MacBooks as well, that they can work with.
Yeah, just a 1 second pushback. I hear you, mention about the MasterCard funding, because I know to get a MasterCard funding is very, very competitive. So the young entrepreneurs you're dealing with are, they themselves are applying to get the funding, or the Empowerment Square themselves?
Empowerment Square secured the entire funding, and then we were able to distribute the funding to invest in their businesses.
Or with a proposal to MasterCard that you want to empower young Liberians?
Yes. In fact, MasterCard had never been funding in Liberia. We were the
Yes,
first.
I know that. That's why I'm asking you. Yes.
So let me give you a
That's
background. MasterCard asked me to serve as the keynote speaker for their Young African Works conference in Cape Town, South Africa. I went to that conference. This was right before COVID. I think 2019 or 2018 it was. I was the keynote speaker at that conference and met with the CEO then of MasterCard and made the case for Liberia because MasterCard tries to stay away from post-conflict countries. They try their best to keep in countries that have stable, long-term democracy, stable economies. That's why they're in Ghana, Nigeria, and other places. So I've made a case that, in fact, their chances of greater impact is in countries like Liberia, where the need is enormous compared to other countries like Ghana. So as a result of that case that I made at the conference as a keynote speaker, we did a test funding of 100,000 United States dollars in 2021, I think it was. That was the first case where we supported 86 young entrepreneurs, and the result of that was so good. They followed through with doubling to do another 250 young entrepreneurs, and we just completed that. So now we are in the case of expanding, scaling that funding to a significant piece, which would then make us a major recipient of MasterCard funding in Liberia and opening up that door to other organizations in Liberia that may be able to engage as well.
wow, great. Thank you.
Mr. Nagbe, but Mr. Nagbe, let me say something about the question you asked earlier, Seleke. Look, we want to transform that country, and most of the time, people when people start to get involved in projects and so forth, people talk about politics, right? But like Leo told you guys, we've been in this business for 20 plus years, and if we want to change that country, these are someone who you want to see in the House of Senate because he able to go get money. He depend on that brand. He depend on money, the country money. You go bring money for it. If a district is successful in getting him, you go bring money for that district and help and show what a lawmaker can do. Instead of saying depend on that paycheck. I mean, it works for itself. So if Leo decides to, but. I can tell you, I think I told him we were having was at a place in Washington. I said, if you maybe the declaration tonight that you will not draw back, people will become organic. People will, instead of him going to say I want to run, people will, like you see people already telling him. Some people say Senate, some people say a district. So people will come to him and they will be organic and that's how you do it because they say the left will speak for you. What you do is for you, and because what he has done over the years. People have seen it. So anybody, if Leo decides to run for any district or any position in the House or the Senate, that person running against you should be worried because this man footprints is all over the place. So it's a good question, Seleke. At least Myean, I want to see a story about that.
Yeah. So I have a question also, but I think Mr. Nagbe wants to come in.
Okay, no problem. On the website too.
You can go ahead, Myean, or you want me to go?
Okay, yeah, me coming. So you talk about the relationship between Liberia and that of Canada. So you have been balancing the life between Liberia and Canada. So do you care to tell us what have been some of your motivations in terms of this relationship that you want to balance between Liberia and that of Canada, and how do the young people benefit from these opportunities?
Yeah, so thank you. So first I'll say most people have not noticed the number of young people I facilitated to come to Canada is incredible. And for privacy, I wouldn't name them here or whatever, to many different opportunities, not just young people, adults and families as well, including for educational opportunities and many other things. Not all of us do things because we want to go out there and, to push it for any ulterior motive. But let me tell you what I'm doing. Beyond the personal support, we are all limited, right? I can only support the number of people I'm able to support. So I've been working at system levels operation, and I'll give you one. The first thing we decided to actually do was to look at the Learning Center as bridging an opportunity between big philanthropic Canadian dollars coming into Liberia. Liberia is an unknown territory for Canada, period. There's not much going on. As a result of this project now, I've made 3 different delegations of top-level philanthropists. I'm talking about people who can donate in the millions. Each of them have come to Liberia to do their first assessment. In March this year, I took the number 2 for Global Affairs Canada. Global Affairs is like our Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Canada. The number 2 and the delegation from the Canadian Embassy in Cote d'Ivoire that is responsible for Liberia, I took them on a 2-day visit to Liberia for another scan, because Canada is in the process of doing something they call the Canada-Africa strategy, which would be for the next 10 years how they want to engage Africa. Liberia is not at the table right now. So I've been fortunate enough, because of my work and connections on that side, to be privy to this. So we took that delegation to Liberia. But let me give you the big one that just finally consummated itself. The city that I live in Canada, I decided to engage our city council here around looking at how we could develop some institutional relationship in Liberia. So I went to Painesville a few years ago, and thanks to previous mayors, from Letitia Reeves to Sivette Gibson to Mayor Pam Belcher Taylor, and now to Robert Bestman, I've worked with every single one of them consistently. Doesn't matter who was in power or who was not. We remain committed to the cause, because it's not about individuals. It's about the institution. So that work has consummated now. As of last week, Tuesday, there was a virtual program held where, before that, actually, we introduced a motion at the city of Hamilton in Canada that was unanimously voted upon and passed by every single member of the city council to establish a sister city with the city of Painesville.
Wow.
That was voted upon unanimously. Followed through last Tuesday, we had a virtual event where the mayor and the city council from Canada and in Painesville were virtually from the Learning Center, officially signed the agreement. The difference with the agreements is not an MOU that usually gets signed. It is law in Canada, because it was unanimously voted by the city to be instituted. Painesville became the first city on the African continent for the city in Canada here to ever partner within the entire history of the city here. So what we've also done, we started working the kinks underneath. I've already connected Police Inspector General Garguah Coleman with the Chief of Police here already, around looking at providing some forensic support to the Liberian National Police around training, which is one of the biggest areas of gaps that we've seen, including bringing LMP officers to Canada to be able to be supported here around forensic training and material and equipment they can be supported with. But we've gone one step further to talk about benefits, because, whenever we talk about benefits, people think that people leaving Liberia coming to Canada. We want to make Liberia good enough that those who will not travel will also have aspirations and prospects of becoming better, because everybody will not travel. We cannot only put the focus on emptying our country of as many people as we can. So that's just some of the work, but there are more things I'll be talking about on the agenda, Myean, because we have the drug and substance abuse issue as one of the topics. So I wouldn't jump ahead, but just to give you a broad stroke of some of the work that we have been doing consistently to ensure that we're not only helping people travel, but we're trying to make Liberia a better place so we can have some flow of resources from Canada flowing into Liberia too, so that our brothers and sisters who may never travel can also have some clear prospects of success.
Yeah, thank you very much again, Leo. First of all, let me commend you for being as clear as is possible to some of my colleagues here on the panel and even some in the audience who think there is a clear line of demarcation between advocacy and politics. No. We have Fanda Kamara here. She came here. She's been driving an issue. All of a sudden, she joined the CMC, and Sylvester, Seleke, all of them are up in arms. Oh, you are you deceived us. You came here. Yes, no, I would say Seleke, and let me finish. Then you can come in. So there's actually, look, most of the people who joined politics here, they were into other aspects of life. They use those other occupations to build the foundation that will push them into politics. That's why when they get into politics, they're not going to look for money anymore. They're going to render service. You come into politics already established. You're not coming there hungry with an empty bank account. You're coming in to lend your hand, your talent, and service to your country. So I wish and I hope you consider that. And if you find a space, my brother, please throw your hat in the race wherever you think you will make an impact that will help us, bring you on the national stage. Not that you are not already on the national stage. This project that you undertook. Actually, the first time I heard about this, I was like, what? Who is this guy? And what what does he think he's doing? And then I got the background, you've been at this thing for so long, you've been putting the pieces together, bit by bit by bit and bit. So congratulations again. So the question that Siddiqui asked is what I was also going to ask, if you have, any intentions of expanding, I know the need in Liberia is so great, down from the universities to the high schools to the, grade level schools, because if you have the one centralized location, it makes the competition so grave and access becomes more difficult. So I'm glad that you mentioned that. And I hope that, it comes to fruition soon.
Yeah,
So that,
I can speak to that a little bit.
please do. Actually, I appreciate that.
So one of the things we don't do well in Liberia, we do these one-off isolated things. We don't think, Liberia been a relief state for so long that people only think through relief. What the IMF will get today, what the UN will get. During the war, UN will can't distribute beans, distribute rest. We wait again for the next relief effort. And unfortunately, the country has not transitioned into someone talking about things and saying we're talking about the next 40 years, the next 30, the next 25, right? Most of the things we're doing are kind of stop gaps, I would say. And they are responding to emergencies. So we've never transitioned to a place where we are saying, when will we start responding to the 50-year future down the road, to the 20-year future down the road? So one of the things we did with this project, we engaged the public library system in Canada, including the engineers, to design what a national public library system could look like, and not just building a one-off and thinking about what to do next. So as I speak to you, the public library system here has already voted unanimously to come on board as our institutional partner, to use this as the foundation for designing a national system. So let's say if we decide to build another one in Banga, we're not doing it in isolation. It's connected to this one. Now, whatever you can experience in Painesville at that center will be the same you can experience in Banga, because this is how systems are built. You don't build them until you put the foundation in place so that you can be able to inform best practices. But let me break the news to you as I speak. We are already set to ground break for the second building, which will be costing us another $1.5 million. We've raised about 70% of that money already as I speak in the bank. So this one will be 2 levels up, in fact. So we are building a system in a methodical way rather than just getting excited. So for example, this phase 1 that we finished, we thought to let it run for the first 12 months so we can learn lessons, what not to do, what to do. Now that it's been running, what people don't even realize is that this facility has been running for 9 months with only solar, because we designed it in a way that it can be built anywhere in the country, even if there is no LEC. And we made a commitment that the lights in that building will never go off unless God strike, because I want it beyond all of us means. But the lights will never go off. So right now we run on solar entirely, and we're only using about 35 to 40% of the amount of solar energy being produced. All through the rainy season, we ran on solar as well. Our second source of power is LEC. We never needed to use LEC since we opened. We track the usage and realized that if we were using LEC and generator, our electricity cost would have been around 37,000 United States dollars so far, based on the volume of electricity we are actually using. We also have rainwater collection system. Whenever we got one of the wettest capitals in the world. Why is water a problem in Liberia? So whenever it rains, we collect the rainwater, send it underground, it pumps it back into the building to be used. We're using something called passive air control. There are only one room in the building that has air conditioning. The whole building does not have air conditioning in it. We are testing what passive air control can do using the dirt bricks, the earth compressed brick that we use. It has a better temperature control on the inside. So just the building technology that was even designed into this thing is already paying so much dividends. It's paying off so much in ways that the amount of cost we are saving the building is self-sufficient, is self-operational, very low maintenance, nothing crazy. But to answer your question, Victor, we're building a system in a methodical way and not in an exciting way to cause instant gratification to just make people happy. We are approaching it step by step. As I speak to you, one of our staff members was just in Canada here for 2 weeks, going through experiential training. She was able to shadow in the public library, shadow in the university library, shadow in the academic library. So we are doing this knowledge exchange process both ways. Our staff will continue to come to Canada to continue to see some of the best practices. We've brought 3 universities on board now. that will also be expanding the type of work that we're doing. So we are building a foundation for what we are hoping will become a national system across the country.
Thank you, Leo. I'm sure Chief will want to welcome Chef. Mr. Dix, welcome you.
Chef Dix, young man, the man is a historian. The man is, there's nothing, the only topic you bring with the guy is, he will give you the whole 9 years by this guy. So,
welcome, Leo. Thank you very much, man. I've been following you. I'm very impressed with your work. Some of the things that you say, I hope it goes on the national level, is that we should think big. It's not always trying to do little small thing here, small thing there. You know, when you think big, it can happen. I just want to, the meeting I want to focus on, but I think you kind of stole my tongue a little bit, was the technology that you use to build that place. The what is called Empowerment Square, right?
Yes, the Liberian Learning Center.
Liberian Learning Center. I hate to call it a public library because it's more than a library. Yeah, the technology you use, and you also mentioned how you're saving energy. You know, we all know we're going to Liberia. We come from the states of Canada, US, and we're working with Tower, we're in the house and fanny ourselves. And with the rainy season, you are using very little energy based on that. I know the brick that you use. So can you explain to us that whole idea, how it was conceptualized, and what kind of research was done, and then where those bricks were taken from, and how they were processed? Because if you could use that for that learning center, and you have the second project coming up, I think then it can be done on a national level. That can be the facility can get very green, and we can save a lot when it comes to energy consumption. So I will turn that over to you.
Yeah, no, thank you. So first thing, to just full disclosure, all of it was done by Liberian companies. None was done by any foreign company. Everything from the water system to the solar system to the construction. We did have Canadian engineers working in support of these companies, but everything was designed, implemented by Liberian companies. Now, to answer your question, I don't think a lot of people realize the first stage of this project, we did 6 years of research. Again, when you're doing system level, it's not about the rush to just do things. You have to meticulously put in the type of quality work that is required. We did 6 years of research. When I started the research for this project, Kehleboe Gongloe was the Minister of Education. Let me let you know how far back we've actually gone.
That's my uncle. That's my uncle. We just buried him last year.
Exactly. The late Kehleboe Gongloe was Minister of Education when we went to Liberia. The first thing we tried to ask for was data, and there was no data. Obviously, because we don't have organized data in Liberia, because everything we are solving is based on relief. It's not based on thorough research. So we started to collect our own data. My brother, Siafa, we went to 13 of the 15 counties. It took 6 years to cover that ground of 13 of the 15 counties. And in that process, we actually was doing research to cover the country at a system level, so that if you are supposed to do this in Banga, you got to go do new research again to do it in Banga. But part of that research also was researching building materials, building technology, what was being used in Liberia and how it could be elevated. Because the mistake we make, we come to these Western countries, see these buildings and just borrow and carry it there. And sometimes it's not consistent with where we are. They also wanted to study the architecture of the place so that they don't bring something and building that will look so foreign that nobody able to mimic it, or it look like you pluck it out of nowhere. So the idea was, how do you elevate the architectural design to meet modern standards, but how do you also then elevate local building materials that people already have access to, but improve it through the technological adaptation? So we went to the mud house in the villages. Our little mud house, our old man can actually build.
Yep.
No matter how hot it is outside, when you walk into those huts, it is as cool as you can consider, like there's air conditioning in it. So our team studied multiple types of soil. They even discovered something called the Pinsville sandstone. It's a special kind of stone that does good adhesive in dirt brick. They discovered, they did multiple soil testing analysis. They tested, I think, 8 to 9 different types of wood to figure out what makes sense. And what they discovered was, when you're building it close to Monrovia, you are around the Atlantic Ocean. Anything concrete is going to mold in less than 9 months because the Atlantic sea breeze will just hit it. And concrete loves heat. You know what the engineers asked me after our research? They asked me, they say, they're confused as to why people are building with concrete in Liberia. In fact, he said, why are people using concrete jungle in a place that gets hot up to 40 degrees because concrete is a lover of heat. That's the reason why the moment you turn off the air conditioner, in 60 seconds, the place can get hot as if the air conditioner was not just on. So they were like, it's not the right thing to build with. Besides, concrete will mold and everything. And that's where they came up with the idea of using the earth compressed brick. Now, that's not Firestone brick. In fact, we went to Firestone. They said the Firestone brick is not done properly. It's completely horrendous. That's not how it's supposed to be done. The company that did those bricks is called Kingdom Earth Blocks. It's a Liberian company. In fact, they already built some residential properties with it as well. So I'm just giving you a good lay of the land. Then the solar. We researched for solar. Our team had to do the wind bearing, the sun, understanding of all of that. So 6 years of research, we came back with close to 1 terabyte worth of audio recordings, interviews. We talked to elders, youth groups, women groups, rural organizations, collected all of that. When I went to Liberia, I went with the plan of building a small library because our idea of a library was a 40-foot container with text, storybooks in them. But once the research was completed, that's how we went from a library to a full learning center. So it was that research that informed the basis. Even the building design, how you see the roof is sculpted, it was because of the understanding of the movement of the sun from when it sets to when it rises to ensure that you are making advantage of daylight throughout the day as the sun moves, and you continue to collect energy, but also the airflow is directed in a way that the hot air does not come below. It stays up at the ceiling level. So again, critical thinking went into this. 6 years of quality research went into it before even we talk about, I'll give you an example. We spent $125,000 before the first brick went into the ground.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Mr. Dees, if you have a follow-up, Tomlin is coming back. He's handling one or two things, but yes, let's go ahead.
I got a quick follow-up. So it's a learning center. So what kind of services are offered in the learning center, and then how is that facility sustained in terms of the financial part?
Great question. So there are two key things in that everybody loves. One is the dedicated children's library. In fact, the single largest space in there is the children's library. So all educational materials curated only for children, exclusively. And then we have an adult library as well. We have access to computer labs. Oh, we're not using the old school desktop computers. We're using only laptops as well to make it movable and mobile. We also have what we call small business incubation centers in there. And then we have co-working spaces. So those of you in North America, you know now how it's like. You walk into one space, you have 10 different organizations co-working together. We also have that in there. We also have a dedicated radio station that's in development. We're hoping that within the next 8 months or so, the radio station will be ready to go. But then we have, again, the membership services. We have adult membership. Adult membership 18 and above is $20 US for the whole year. You pay the $20, you get your membership card. It gives you unlimited access to the facility, to internet, to computers, to everything in the building. We also have your regular library materials, books and everything. And now we are working on connecting our digital system, virtual system, with the public library system in Hamilton, Canada, whereas they will be able to lend us all their titles electronically, that you will be able to access it with your library membership. For youth between the ages of 13 and 18, it's $12 for the whole year. So basically you're saying $1 a month. And children under the ages of 13 is free, 100%. In fact, we do have transportation services in country. The bus goes to as far as Point 4, Niku Town, Pipeline, Nizo to pick up children during our summer literacy program. We pick children up and bring them to the facility for specific literacy programming and drive them back. So as I speak to you, I would say, because I think a lot of people do not realize, you talk about revenue and sustainability, right? So in adult membership alone, 5,000 members will give us 100,000 United States dollars. So volume makes sense. In the West, that's how the people run these facilities that is so affordable because they have volume. I'm just talking about adult membership alone. I'm not talking about printing services. Co-working spaces, for example, is $60 US a month, right? I'm not talking about space rentals. We got, I think, 3 major conference rooms in the facility right now that are solid book continuously with different prices. So we are predicting that in 1.5 to 2 years, the building will be raising enough money to pay for itself entirely and would need no external source of funding.
Thank you, Leo.
Hey, man.
At least you got
Congratulations.
Caroline
But can
to
I
stick
can I
around.
can I push 1 second question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Just a second.
Greatest-
Roman, what you
Okay,
gonna say?
so
Just a second. Shafa, are you done?
No, Leo, I just want to say congratulations. And my next visit to Liberia, I will be sitting at the Learning Center for sure. And can you tell where the next facility is going to be built? And please tell me Cape Man. Please tell me Cape Man.
No, we're not going Cape Man. No, so what we've done, we're trying to design what a municipal complex is supposed to look like. You know, I always say, I came Canada, right? God bless me. Not because I'm smarter than any other Liberian. It was really just by the grace of God. I can come Canada, see better, experience better, live better, go by Liberia and do mediocre. So what we're trying to do is to figure out how a municipal complex is supposed to look like. You uptown, when you go to City Hall, the library across the street, the gym across the street, and right on that civic ground, there's everything there. So what we decided to do is to experiment with Painesville City. So the second facility is going to be what we call a convention center. Those in the West will have an idea what that is. So we're going to have an indoor NBA-sized basketball gymnasium that can also double up as a space for big events. Right now, good luck finding a hall in Liberia that can take 1,000 people. Almost non-existent. You either have to do it outdoors or maybe a big church that you can actually go to. So as it exists, we'll be building a convention center that will have a indoor recreation, sports and recreation facility, can also host big events and additional rooms for co-working spaces, incubation spaces. So the goal is what a municipal ground is supposed to look like. If we get Painesville to look at that, we get Monrovia City Hall to look like that. We get Banga, the capital city of every county, start to build municipal grounds that facilitate real community inspiration, growth, and activity. And it does not just become a place for only politics. It can really become a place for civic engagement. And that's the type of thinking we are putting behind this.
Thank you, Leo. Anthony, our colleague Anthony, he wants you to run Maserati, but I want you to run Grandkid where he got it. Where you got
Go take his thunder. Yeah, you can go take Anthony thunder for him.
I know, right? Mr. Kromah, you had a question. Thank you, Leo.
Yeah. So, brother leader, I wanted to know, like, you spoke about the membership fees, for adults, the library membership and the different prices. So I just wanted to know, like, within it, I don't know how long this Empowerment Square been operating. Are you getting the large number of membership that you guys are looking for? Because I'm just concerned if Liberians were interested in looking at things.
So
yeah.
The greatest fallacy and lie we've ever been told is that Liberians will not pay for service. That's the biggest, and that was one of the main reasons why I did this. Instead of us saying the kind of services, Liberia, the mediocre services we are providing Liberians is why who should pay for mediocre service? Let's be honest with ourselves. I'll give you an example. We are on the mark. Our goal is by the end of the year to hit 5,000 members. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? So my greatest surprise, Liberians have been paying. We're running out of co-working spaces. And we are running, membership response has been incredible. So I would say the biggest lie we've been told is that, like, let me put it away. Who not let better thing? Ain't everybody need data? Ain't everybody can buy their dollar scratch card? Sure. Everybody can save money to buy their dollar scratch card and put data on your phone, right? Who does not want good, reliable access to internet? So we should be asking ourselves the question, are you the learning center? Let me give it to you. We built a bathroom right in front of here, and one of the commitments I made also is that the bathroom will never smell. They added to that bathroom supposed to smell stinking like Liberia. It will never happen. We'll keep it clean. That space will always be available. So as a result of the quality service, you know what's happening right now? A shout out to former Commerce Minister Axel Ade. He went to visit. He was so impressed. He dedicated his birthday to raise enough money to pay for 100 membership cards. He exceeded and is paying for over 100 membership cards, right? Another shout out to Auntie Rachel Deeks, former Liberian ambassador to the US. She's also, and her husband, Dr. Deeks, who is a pioneering Liberian in the health sector, dedicating his 90th birthday to raise $25,000 to support the space. And let me say it to you, Sidiki, people don't realize it. I hosted a fundraiser for this project in Liberia because I wanted to dispel this fact that everybody in Liberia is hungry, so they will not give to anything good. We raised over $79,000 US in one night at Royal Grand Hotel. all Liberians. So this myth and this fallacy that Liberians will not pay for service, we need to transition the country. I don't do anything free. People in Liberia know I don't do things free. What I worry to do is I make sure affordability is key so that it is within reach of everybody. If you can buy a dollar scratch card, just save 20 on your dollar scratch card and get unlimited access to internet for 1 year.
So you also say that some students go there, they don't have a computer. You guys, you get machine, everything there.
Computers, laptops, top notch.
Wow, this is great.
Top of the line laptops. You go, you sign in. Once you have your membership card, you are good to go.
Yes. So there's a number incoming.
Oh, and by the way, Seleke, just another quick stat. So Abigail, you were also another ordinary Liberian, because of what we've done, paid for 20 membership cards as we speak. So current membership, we are standing around 1,700 members already. Pastor Chokon Lamfor from Effort Baptist Church is also raising money, prepare for another 30 membership card for students for Effort Baptist School. So Liberians are stepping up in an incredible way because of the excellence that they've seen. So this fallacy that Liberian can pay for good thing is false. It's not, there's no evidence to prove it, because the Learning Center is dispelling every single one of those facts. Thank God Telvi is on here. Telvi's group has been one of our most consistent volunteer groups for everything from cleaning up to helping us with events. Liberians are stepping up. So trust me, I'm bad at holding the amount of money we're raising right now to run the facility is evidence. My own, I get proof.
But just a quick recommendation, Leo. I like your commitment. You said you made a promise to yourself that the Bible and the environment of that place would not be dirty or smell. And to hearing again, you have a group of Liberians who are volunteering to clean a place. You know, I don't know how you see that. I don't know, the group of Terry, they are paying those people and then they volunteering at your institution, or how is it looking about? If they actually volunteer, they may not want to put that. You know.
No, Seleke, let me speak to that. I think we forget what happens in the West. Most of the civic institutions in the West run on volunteers. As I speak to you, I have 280 volunteers in Canada consistently every year, week in, week out. Majority from community centers that you see, from libraries that you see, majority of those people you see there are people who are doing well in life, and they've decided to commit themselves to volunteer to support other people because they know some of these facilities will never make enough money to hire everybody because they must keep it affordable. But let me say it to you, that doesn't mean we don't have staff. We have full-time staff there, but these volunteers are able to beef up the capacity of our staff so we can be able to serve more people. We can keep the facility open longer as much as possible. So nobody should tell you volunteerism is not it's a very consistent, sustainable thing. In the West, most of the civic institutions and facilities run on volunteers big time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Leo. Thank you, Seleke.
Is the number coming?
Yeah, who brought Telvi on the show?
Yeah, bro, Telvi always welcome on every show.
I was gonna ask the same question.
You know you love me.
Telvi, welcome. Mine, when I say something, and please get it.
Yeah, I want to ask a question.
We should take a few calls when you finish posing your question, Maya, and then
if you want to take call after my question, we can take calls.
Yeah, so there are a few other things that were on the topic list. So after you, Myean, I'll just run.
We have more time, so we
no, you don't move to another. You don't move to another topic because I gotta ask my 2 questions on the Learning Center.
Yeah, so you kept mentioning about the Liberia Learning Center. So my question here is this: how do Liberians benefit from the Learning Center, or the entire educational setup benefit from the Learning Center in the next 5 to 10 years within Liberia?
So I'll ask you first of all, Myean, do you think there's any benefit to Liberia having unlimited access to quality internet services, for example?
No.
Okay, let me say this to you very quickly. Number one, Liberia is the only country in the world that I've traveled to where they got a black market for books. Just like you buying drugs. Black market. You want book, you go to World Trade Center. Once catch it looking at that kind of you say you want math book. You tell them I want Audrey Bravo, the man say, Brabi, sit and wait for me small. Tell them that something a black D you doing on that book, you go bow. The man say, Brabi, just sit and small coming. The man disappear. So now for 20 to 30 minutes. They may just reappear with 5 versions of the book. What are somebody book you come from stealing? What are you taking from somewhere? Only God knows. So you're running a black market for books. So one of the benefits will be at the Learning Center, we are curating quality education material. So you need to go on a call to World Trade Center. Somebody put you in one little corner. You can come. You even need to pay for it. It's available to you to use and leave it for others to use. That's one. You may not realize it, but access to educational materials in Liberia is almost non-existent. Period. That's one. Number 2, that no more there. Our children have to start having access to the quality infrastructure and programming that they desire to be able to aspire for better. You can only try to be what you've seen. So let me tell you this today. Any child that not go to that learning center that gets used to it, right?
I've been there.
Good. When somebody else come back tomorrow and based on a late in behind the hall, especially when they use government money, and based on a late in behind come and tell you, say this is a modern state-of-the-art facility. You know the train will actually tell them, be brother, can let me hold your hand and carry you to Pinsville, saying you see library before, can let me go show you one. So what we've done and part of the conversation is we've elevated the conversation now. You will either match that one or you will do better than it for us to be able to appreciate it, because you know what? We deserve better too. We can't be doing small. Bad soul requires bad medicine. So let's elevate the conversation because money is not the issue. There is enough money out here to go around. I can tell anybody, I can raise any amount of money required to do any kind of project as long as the work is put in and is done properly.
Okay,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Nagbe, you can take over.
Yeah, thank you, Leo. Telvi, welcome. It's good to have you on set. Please, you said you had 2 questions for Mrs. Johnson.
Yeah, good afternoon, guys, or good evening. One question, Lynn. I don't know if you talk about that, but the hours, can you speak to the hours of the Learning Center if you have after hours or open access for people who got BSHA membership, whatever? You speak to hours?
Yes. So there are some people, for example, who are renting the co-working spaces, for example, that pay their $60 a month for the co-working spaces. So yes, they do have different kinds of access. So we open 9 to 5, right? That's our hours. But because we do have conference rooms and stuff that people can rent, sometimes there are people booking the rooms for after-hour events, like a 6 p.m. event or 7 p.m. event or so. So the facility is open, so not up to 10, 11, but we're not open for general services. It's only for those targeted things. So let's say if tell you are in Liberia and you are hosting a training session at 7 p.m., 7 to 9 p.m. and you book the space. The space will be open to ensure that your event can be accommodated. But those hours are not the hours people can get library card. People can use the library, no. But the regular hours we open 9 to 5.
Awesome. So next one. So I always worry about being an avid test taker or a cert taker. I know 2 of my friends that had to do CPA exam and stuff. They had to go to Ghana and other places. And it bothered me because I was like, look, when I'm ready to take cert, I put in there, I got more than 10 locations within my zip code. Yeah. But I know STARS used to be one of piercing for you. I talk about piercing because it's common to all of us. Piercing for you, but I don't know what happened. They're not. So is that something? I know you're a visionary, but is that something you're looking into? Because that's money. Why should our people? That's what always plagued me. I was like, why should our people leave and go to Nigeria and Ghana to take a cert, CPA, tech cert, when we can do it right there? People got land, people got schools. Why are you leaving the money on the table and let the foreigners take their money? So Leo, help me. I know you're thinking that direction.
So we're already on that path. I will speak to you. The thing about these international standard tests is that once you get certified for one, it's almost automatic for the rest of because they all are the same standards most of the time. Even though they are for different type of professions or whatever, but the standards are the same. So what we've done, we've tackled the IELTS, the International English Language Testing, which is used for scholarships, for migration purposes or so. That's the first one that we've tackled. As we speak to you, Liberia is not a designated country, and it takes a while for being able to administer the test to prove that you're a designated country. So what we've done, we're working with neighboring countries who are already designated, using their partnership to be able to administer the test in Liberia. So as I speak to you, we're currently registering people for the administration of IELTS in Liberia, which have always been in Ghana or Sierra Leone. So we do that for about a year, and then the goal would be to now work towards applying for Liberia to become a designated country. But all I'm trying to say to you is I can give you the next 12 months. Keep your eyes open. We will be making some big announcements around that piece as we're working fast towards getting it certified to be done in Liberia at the Learning Center.
I'm excited about that because that's been on my heart for the last 1 or 2 years. And I'm just like, no, I've got to do this. But guys, I'm sorry, one last one and I'll be done. I will not be a talker today. Leo.
Are you sure that's the last one?
I'm sure. So, when it comes to library and education, I get all excited. No, but one last one. Automation. Let's talk about automation. So, I mean, we all know on this side when we and maybe I'm asking for too much, but we can access our library, online. We can check out books. Now, even the universities now, they're allowing us to even check out our books for free. This semester, I had to check out my book for free as part of my tuition. Yeah. So, long story short, I'm sure you're looking that direction. What are your plans?
So processes are already on. That's the reason why one of our staff was in Canada to actually shadow in the public library system. But also the public library system in Canada sent 2 delegations to Liberia to lay out the whole architecture of both the digital framework of what the space should look like. So at this point, what we're doing is all of the materials, any book in that space is already online. Okay. You can go to the website and go. We haven't made it available yet for you to read a whole book or check it out. But you can stay home now and check to see what's in the at the center. If we have a certain book or we don't have a certain book. The goal is we're building what we call a learning management system. You will know that, Telvi. This is what is really used to make those texts available, including administering standardized testing. We've purchased a $100,000 system already as we speak. The system is being designed. That system will not only be able to allow us go digital, but it will also allow us to administer universities in Canada to do what we call micro credentials. A university like in Canada can be able to administer a project management course through the Learning Center in Liberia, and you can write your exam and your test, everything right there, and get certificated or a diploma from a university or college right here in Canada. So we're working on it. Like I said to you, this is why we brought the public library system in Canada on board. We have a formal partnership now that their board has voted and approved as a sister library. So they're helping us with the design systems of all of this. But again, I can promise you we're working on them. And every 2-3 months when you check the site, you hear a new announcement of one more thing that has come along. That's how we've been building gradually.
That's it. I love it. I'm done.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's drink water.
There you go. Leo, thank you. And Chief, welcome back to your host duties. Leo, let me ask you, I know you and I understand you have your master plan, you have an expansion plan. But one of the things I'm wondering is why we be working on the substantive and more durable expansion plan. Are there any plans in the works for, say, library on wheels where you can send a truck to Harper, Maryland County, so that the people there will have access while you are working on, the more formidable, and detailed arrangement?
Unfortunately, the challenge with that is the cost becomes prohibitive when you don't have regional hubs, right? So like what the people would do here, even a library on wheels, those library on wheels in community are closest to the closest library hub, the closest infrastructure, the closest facility to make it more managed. Imagine trying to send a truck to Maryland, let's say, or even to Banga. Right. What the cost and logistics would be for moving that. So for me, I'm the slow rolls. I told people I'm not rushing to go anywhere. So I meticulously take my time. And you know what happened? Liberia has been in the situation since I was small. So we're taking our time meticulously. But I also I will say this publicly, Tomalin, you were at the conference in DC. I challenged the government that we are advocating for the government to set up an autonomous agency. For the first time, that will be the Liberia National Libraries and Museums. We will work with them to raise the money. We can raise $30 million to replicate the Liberian Learning Center across the country. With $30 million, you can build one of this in every county. With $30 million, small money. And we're not saying the government should go look for it in the budget. We're saying the government should provide the political will, arm us with what we need to step out there and find the money. Me and I say in Liberia, a lot of people only know how to spend money. They don't know how to raise it. Me, I get excited for raising it. So the people here, we could convince people in Canada, US, and other countries to give us $2 million. We're not in Liberia. We're just non-profit, right? They never even been to Liberia here to see it. But because of the seriousness of the proposals we put forth. So I said it to the Liberian government that we will be willing to work with any government for that matter because national libraries and museums are so crucial when we talk about solving our educational problem. Who's curating textbooks? Who's curating what kind of materials teachers are using? Who's curating access to those materials when you're giving our kids assignments and projects, even at the university level? Where do they go to access these materials that promotes independent learning? When you hear countries like Rwanda, thousands of our students strung in there to go to school, they're not doing anything crazy. They're blood not green, they're red. They're just more organized. And Rwanda first ever library was built in 2012. First ever in the history of the country. From 2012 to now, it has transformed the whole country. And President Kagame and his wife had to get behind it as their personal project because of the powerful outcomes that they were seeing as a result of having one.
Wow. Well, again, we have Leo Johnson, the CEO of Empowerment Square Liberia and Canada, is our guest tonight. Want to welcome Fanta Kamara. She's joining us too. But Leo, let me come straight to this issue about drugs and substance abuse, the crisis.
Yeah.
And that's one of the issues that have plagued our country for a long time. And it appears that we still have not gotten a grip on it yet, because at the conference I was asking, I think the EPS boss about this particular topic, and he said that the president have set up a commission to recommend the leadership for the DA. But I think I heard you we're discussing that because we don't have no data about the issue. We talk about drugs and talk about the Zobos and things like that, but there's no data to if somebody try to use it, wants to support the drug epidemic in Liberia, how do we do it? What the data you show? Because like all you guys know who write project, you cannot get money until you show data for the people to fund the project. So tell us about this.
Yeah.
What are you doing in your organization and this cool movement?
Yeah. So Tomalin, that's a very good point. You know, I've always said for a long time, from the time I was about 9 years old, when I got exposed coming to Canada, I just realized that I don't understand why Liberia has always been fighting for crumbs. It still baffles me as a country that we've always been fighting for crumbs. And I'm saying crumbs because I've never heard any government tell me that they are in engagement or negotiation for $10 billion over the next 5 years to tackle something. It's always been 40 million here, 50, 60. And I understand there are certain things in Liberia that is at a state of emergency that needs to be responded to. So I'm not naive to that. But we have to be able to fight with one hand and build with the other. While we're dealing with the emergency situations we're dealing with, imagine Tomalin, 20 years ago, right? Because the time will still come. But the 20 years have come and gone. Here we are, we're still here. So let me get to the drugs issue. About 4 or 5 years ago, when this issue started escalating, I came to the Canadian government and with some other partners, big foundations like MasterCard and others, and started to just figure out how can we encourage them to be able to support. And, you know, just exploring the conversation. And the first question that came up was, you know, where's the data? So I said, I made the assumption that we should have data. And, you know, given how severe this issue had been, I was like, there's no way. So I was so confident. I told them, okay, I will put the data together and everything, and I will present it. I went to Liberia. I asked everywhere, including the Ministry of Health, and there was no data. I then came back and told the university to help me because the university got access to all kinds of research that has been done. Because sometimes people do research about Liberia, but they don't leave it there. They bring it with them. So sometimes it exists, but it may not just be in Liberia. The university joined me, and for 1 solid year, scoured every possible research database and, you know, validated research database they could. The only one we came up with was one done by the Carter Center. But that one was more about trauma and, you know, trauma and mental health from the war, from others. It was not directly correlated to drug and substance abuse. So up to this date, as far as I know, and people watching, they can correct me if I'm wrong. I was at a conference Tomalin when I said it, and everybody validated that we don't have the data. So what happens is that's when we fight for crumbs. So somebody will kind of say, I'll give you $5 million, I'll give you $2 million, I'll give you $100,000 to help, because they're basically just trying to help you deal with the symptoms of what you're looking at, but they're not getting to the crux of the matter. The issue of drugs is one of the most expensive, one of the most, one person to be dealt with and brought from on drugs in the West is $50,000 to $150,000 per person. $50,000 to $150,000 per individual, going through the whole rehabilitation process and, you know, reintegration and all of the pieces that have to be done, and the medical side of it as well. So then we went back to the Canadian government and said, okay, we agree with you. Sorry, we thought there was data, but data does not exist. So we bring the challenge back to you. Can you help us? And, you know, to get the quality of data that you're looking for, that we will be able to at least build the foundation that other research can start to build on now, to ask the question, how do we tackle this menace in our society for the next 20 years? Because tackling the drugs issue in Liberia is not a 5-year project, not as the term of a president. It's going to spend 2, 3, 4, 5, 25 years of consistent effort to get there. And we were fortunate to be able to convince the Canadian government to do a significant investment for a 3-year research project with a partnership with McMaster University, which is one of the top 75 universities in the world, coming on board, as well as working with local researchers in Liberia and the Ministry of Health. So as I speak to you, in January of this year, our first batch of development research interns went to Liberia under the supervision of the university and local researchers in Liberia, did their first mapping up, because we're doing 3 counties, Moserado, Grand Bassa, and Maghibi. Those are 3 of our most urban counties that you got a concentration of like congestion of population. And we're seeing it. So over the next 3 years, we will be doing this data. Canadian government is funding it with the university backing. Once the research is done, we get the university to validate it. We get the Canadian government to validate it. Then this will be the first foundation that can help inform government long-term policy. And, you know, to say, here is the evidence to help inform your policy government, but can also arm government and non-governmental organizations to come in the international community and make the case that we need $100 million investment over 10 years, for example. And here is why, because the data supports what we're looking for. Like I said, ultimately, money is not the issue. There's enormous, unlimited amount of money out here. You have to build the innovation and the pathway to attract the kind of dollars. First of all, when you talk to people with big money, Tomalin, and you want to excite them about the innovation that is being brought to bear. It can be the CMO that we want to help 10,000 children. Rich person would give you a $300,000 check just to get rid of you. But you want to let somebody with the resources or country with the resources know that you could help us be one of the first group of people to find a lasting, tangible solution to this problem that could become a template for how other communities and other countries could actually deal with it. So as I speak to you, our second group of researchers, our research development interns, are in Liberia right now. And we're not just doing this in Liberia, we're also doing it in Ghana as well. In Liberia right now, they will be there for, anytime they come, they're there for 3 or 4 months at a time, collecting the data that is required over the next 3 years. And then the university will help us unpack this data, collate it, and then we can finally say, here is the understanding we have right now of the situation in the country. So to all of our partners, our friends, to the government, here's what the data says. What then can we do? So experts like people who are mental health specialists, drug addiction specialists can now have something to go off or to do interventions and to think about what type of programming and what type of approaches are required to tackle the problem.
Wow. Anybody else?
Yeah. Again, I want to ask you, Brother Leo, you know, you spoke about this jobs thing, especially with your research team when you came here in Kigali. So I just want to know basically, how are you recruiting the research team, specifically Liberians that are interested to want to, you know, engage? How you do your recruitment, you know, for Liberian students that are studying abroad, or those that are in Liberia? How do you do your recruitment process?
So let me tell you something, Seleke, that I'm personally have been very disappointed about with Liberian students, especially those of us younger people who are like academics or whatever. There is this attitude in Liberia that people are supposed to chase you with opportunities. Look, I work with the Ghanaians and Nigerians. These guys will hustle down an opportunity, even if a space didn't exist, and manage to put, we're talking about drug addiction and mental health. It's a shame that we need to be asking, how can Liberian students get involved? Liberian students, I've gone on OKFM, Seleke. This stuff is published on the website. If you go to my Facebook page, you'll not go more than 3 posts down that you will see it. How come Liberian students are not running to the Learning Center to say, you know what, we want to support this research team? And let me break the news to you. The research development interns are going to Liberia. Some of them are Liberians. The first 2 cohorts, There have been Liberians among them who have joined the team to go back. But my thing is, in Liberia, this chasing mentality that we think we got some kind of sense of entitlement, that somebody's supposed to come to. I ain't got time for that, because the people who are truly vested and interested, I'll give you an example. Telvi is right on the score, not because she's here. When we're having events, once I post it, I don't call Telvi. Telvi can be the first person to tell her contact person in Liberia to call me and see how they can be involved. We ain't got energy to be chasing everybody down. So I'm announcing it publicly. If you're a Liberian academic or a student and you hear of things like this and you have the skill set and ability to contribute to it, it's on you. It is your country. It's on us to seek it and encourage those development research interns that are coming, that we will come to work with you to support your effort to even do this in a bigger way by providing some of our local expertise that we have in the country. So guess what? We've recruited the experts, so Liberian researchers in country. We brought some of the best on board. But the last thing I will do, Sidiki, before you were asking me, Jenna, if I want to run, if I have political ambition, I go running around the country right now. I go talk about it and say, Leo, you want to run too? So no, those who are interested and have the expertise, please reach out. Don't wait for space. We will help create the space for you to contribute.
Yeah, let me add to that, Sidiki. Let me say Sidiki. Is that your name? Let me add to the whole volunteer thing, because because there's a big thing even in America here. America run on volunteers. I volunteer a lot outside of Liberian community, and so I know what it is. And then being the fact that I mentor almost 15 young adults in Liberia in my group, so whenever I see those opportunities, once I see Leo posted or other people of interest, I reached out. I was like, hey, I was sending my crew there because I want them to know that not everything they gotta pay you for, they gotta reach out to. In America here, when you volunteer, you put on your resume. Most times it gets you in the door. They count it as a job experience. Yep. It gets you in the door. Yep. Some recruiters look for that on your resume. They look for that, your volunteer experience. Not everything money. So sometimes
you also speak to your character.
Yes.
Character.
Yes. Character as well. So I'm just urging a lot of young people, and that's why, because my group, most of the people there are less than 30 years old, and so in as much I'm sending it out there, I'm mentoring them as well and telling them, the importance of all of this. So, and
tell me to that point, Sidiki, when there's a protest, we don't chase people. Everybody can get their t-shirt. They can come in. Nothing wrong with that. Come and protest for what you care about. But then how come when we talk about the things that really matter, how come we're not getting the type of attention that we're supposed to be getting as well? So me, I'm not in the chasing business. We go to Liberia. The one thing I try to do always is to make sure and put these things out there through all the channels, announce it. And you say I went to CEO. I went to CEO to talk about these same things as well. So if you don't reach out to open up opportunities for yourself, it will never walk to you because other people are out there hustling it. We go to Ghana. Our research team goes to Ghana. Trust me, the amount of emails I get from Ghana, from young people saying, what can I do? We will help meet the team at the airport. People volunteering, we will pick up their team at the airport. People volunteering, we can spend a time with them. We can do this, we can do that. And they're not asking me for a penny. How come in Liberia we say Leo Mabile wants to go spend money all around the country for it? Even though he built radio stations and stuff, everywhere the Liberian Learning Center is right there. So I think we need to do better. If it is about our country and we truly care about Liberia, like we all like to beat our chest, then nope, you shouldn't wait for anybody's invitation.
Yeah, let me add one more thing. So you talk about volunteerism because I'm big on that. Let me add another option. UN too is big on that. UN Women just probably a month ago, they put a notice out. They were looking for volunteers to help on some temporary thing, I think for 5 or 8 weeks, and they were looking for volunteers. They posted it. I collected 3 of my best in my group, and I said, you guys need to volunteer for this. They apply, and guess what? They're working on those committees now. They're not paying it, but the exposure, the experience. So 3 of the young people out there, they're on a UN Women Committee right now working on whatever project.
And they like to build top networks as well. For example, these development research interns are coming. These are all university graduates. You never know how some of these people will become your friends and your connections tomorrow because you worked with them while they were in Liberia, and they could be your references tomorrow for very serious top level positions.
So, Leo, Myean, with the calls, any calls coming in, we can call. But
if it was announced,
well, let me say something here, Tomalin. And you mind if I just step in for a minute? After Leo talking about, or somebody on the line?
No, I said Robert Garguah, welcome.
Oh, yeah, Robert.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I heard you talking about data, and I share that same frustration with you. And that was one of my disappointment from this diaspora summit. Some of the low hanging fruits are not being invested into. Like I heard a guy from UNDP talking about bringing AI to the university, cybersecurity. They talk about digital transformation. What is the government doing by itself? So if UNDP bring $10 million, what is the government bringing to be able to automate government services, government business processes? So if Leo walks in the door to the Ministry of Health, doesn't have to go to the minister, can go to the director. Say, I need data on
XYZ. Yeah.
XYZ. You say, okay, boop, boop. I can download it and send it to you what format you want it in. Because we are not collecting data. So since we're not collecting data, we pretty much don't know what's happening in the country. So until we can digitize our processes, we're still going to have these roadblocks. Because when people ask you questions at the table, everything you do is just estimate.
Mm-hmm. And just to add to that, that's why Ghana can go negotiate for 20 billion over this amount of years. They can negotiate for 10 billion over. It's not because their issues are better than ours or whatever. It's only because when all the cases are presented and investors and international partners take it, an international partner who has serious money want to invest to solve a big problem in the long term. They're not trying to do a relief that you will eat and forget tomorrow. If somebody come and help 20,000 children in Liberia rehab there, and then we move on, we forget about that. But if somebody helps us develop our society to the place where we got some of the best rehab centers that can deal with this stuff in the long term, or best intervention strategy, guess what? That lives on for a long time. That's the kind of stuff people want to. So because of that, when we go to compete with other countries, they walk away with 5 times more, and sometimes we walk away with the crumbs.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
And then when they talk about AI, like I told Tomalin on Sunday night, people shouldn't look at AI as something like you're trying to mimic my voice or try to do something. I mean, there's a lot. If you don't have data, you don't transform your data, because companies are using AI to do predictive analysis. They got marketing, they got sales data. They take it and put it in these different machine learning model, and they push it out and tell them that. So AI is, I come and let me just say, AI is not, mimicking voice, images. AI is working with data to predict pattern, to be able to make decisions that will prepare you for the future. Go ahead.
Is that going into AI right now and telling AI, say, naming the first Liberian that invented your telescope? That data doesn't exist. AI can be very rude sometimes when it responds to you for things that don't exist. It can be like, as far as I'm concerned, I've never heard of a Liberian inventing a telescope. So just to make your point that AI is not going to generate any data that doesn't already exist. Yep. So if we're not generating the data and you're asking AI for stuff, AI can do much for you. The reason AI can do much for Google and these big companies, because the amount of data they've generated, AI can spend 30 milliseconds or whatever that is and come through that data and pull out all of the pieces it needs. So AI is just a tool. AI is like your colleagues. That colleague laying can be sharp like what you want. Somebody who knows how to throw it takes that colleague and really throw it. It's useless to you.
You're talking about AI. Somebody recommended that you guys who into these technologies, all this stuff, please help us organize a show, right? So that
let's talk about AI.
Yes, because
we really need to, because our people are so negative towards AI, and it irks me. Being a certified AI professional, it irks me.
That's a different topic. Like, that's a different topic.
Different topic, but we need a different show for another day.
But let's talk about Myean. Announce the numbers for Leo calls. Okay.
Hey, can I just say something like before we do that?
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm this one as well, but go ahead.
Sorry, I'm a little bit under the weather, so forgive my voice. But hello again, everyone. Leo, fantastic job you are doing. Really, really, really great work with the Learning Center, first of its kind, like, of course, and doing tremendously well. I think I even met some of your partners a couple of years ago at a Harvard retreat. And at the time, I think you guys was just about to open, and to see it in reality, it is amazing. So big ups to you. I think you made some really good points. Unfortunately, or to start off, right, data the fact that our people don't understand that data is essentially that like your like almost like your sixth sense, right? That you need to make any type of decision in this digital era, in this digital age. And the fact that we have a quote unquote functioning government, or I would like to say a poor excuse for a government who doesn't understand the importance of data, the, a people, right? A population who doesn't understand the importance of data. I mean, we see it in them making decisions, whether it is allowing foreign companies to produce our passports, right? To control our biometrics. All of those data are not being housed in Liberia. They're being housed offshore. What is happening to them? What's happening to primary data of Liberian citizens to know that no governmental entity can give any type of accountability for it. It just goes to say two things. Either they're grossly incapacitated and they're so unqualified for the positions that they hold, rather than them investing time in just enrolling into short courses and understanding their role, their responsibilities of what they're supposed to be doing, and how critical safeguarding the data of Liberians are. The fact that they can't even do that is really, really worrisome. So when I hear you say, right, that you're launching this massive effort to do research and collect data and work with the university and work with the government to draft policies, it takes me back to a point that I think we don't really appreciate, right? Because a few years ago, they came up with this big 2030. I think that was what it was, right? 2030 strategy, where they produce a similar document to the UN SDGs, right? Of what Liberia was going to accomplish over the next 10 plus years. And we saw that was a waste of money because it did not continue. There was no continuation. So the fact that we experience economic stagnation, right? It's not in error. It's by design. Our so-called leaders do not have the ability to see beyond their greed, their own personal interest, and prioritize the interest of the nation to say, look, if we don't agree on everything else because we are from different political parties, let's agree on these core infrastructure components, right? That we must all commit to, so that when people like you, right, are out there drafting policies and strategies and networking and bringing a massive funding to the table, you have the commitment, not just from the existing government, but you have the commitment from existing leaders, past leaders, future leaders to say, look, all of you are going to, if that's what it comes down to, right? Cut your hand and sign with blood. This is about Liberia. This is about our people. We cannot afford for UP to come and have their own strategy when it comes to core infrastructure issues. We cannot afford for CDC to come and have their own strategy. On these 5 items, we are all going to agree. And therefore, it empowers, right? It enables people like you and everyone else who's out there advocating for Liberia, right? For the transformation of our nation to say, look, we know that over the next 10, 15 years, all of these parties, leaders have signed on to this agreement on these core issues that they will not venture away from. So then when you're just having discussions regarding funding for the drug epidemic, you already are operating with that data in your back pocket. So therefore you have that confidence. It's the lack of cohesive, strategic, but most importantly, practical understanding and commitment to transform Liberia into a sensible state that just works for the people. That's what it comes down to, right? Nothing else.
Thank you. Yeah.
Ms. Kamara, hope you feel better soon.
We have someone on the line here. Let's see where we can pick up this first caller from our international line. Hello, caller. Your name and where do you call from?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead. Your name and where do you call from?
This is Thomas. I'm actually in Ghana currently, but I reside in the U.S. Just want to say hi to everyone. Hi to my brother Tomalin, and then just to provide disclaimer, I'm good friends with Leo. I've known him for a while. Also, I'm part of the Cool movement. I want to make a comment before I give my question to Leo. I just want to echo some of the things that Leo said and the young lady said about how other countries give us young researcher access. So I'm currently in Ghana doing a research for my dissertation. I called them a few years ago. Not only were they extremely welcoming, I met with the university here. They contacted me. Got me in contact with the school that I'm housing my program in. I mean, these folks rolled out the red carpet and everything else. The only thing they asked is that I share the data with them at the end of my PhD research. Did the same thing in Liberia. I have hit so many different obstacles. People have been running around. The only person who has been very, very welcoming, I must give her credit, is the education minister. However, she's been very busy, so we're working on that. Just want to make that caveat. Our people in Liberia has to make it easy for us young Liberian researchers to do this work. It costs them $0. I'm funding my own research, and that information, that data can be used to generate funds to support education and other programs in our country. So they have to make it easier for us young researchers to come in and do the work that we need to do that is going to benefit our people. Just a caveat to them. Leo, this is your brother Thomas. My question to you is this. First of all, thank you for the amazing work that you've done. I recently booked the Learning Center for an organization I sit on the board with, Women Voices Global. We just had our program last week. It went extremely well. The folks there were very professional. The center was amazing. So thank you so much for everything that you've done. My question to you is this. Looking back at your journey, right? You came from refugee camps, and now you have built this world-class center. During the training, we talked about why. So when did you realize your why, right? And also, I want you to talk a little bit about what personal moments stand out to you the most throughout your entire journey. So talk to us about why, because everything you do, you have to find out why, right? So when did you realize what your why was? And also talk about the personal movement that stood out the most to you throughout this journey. Thank you for your time.
Okay, welcome. 077649986, and we also have +231 777649986. Are the numbers to call. So, Mr. George, you also announce your number.
Yeah, 856-676-5136. So while I'm waiting for the calls, Leo, so how long will this research, how long, what is the time frame?
We have another year. This is year number 2. So, and the thing about these things, normally, I think when you talk about the time, that's where people get discouraged. It's funny, this Learning Center project is a 13-year project. So everybody, I think, excited now, like, this stuff started yesterday. In fact, I thought mine was going to be number 5 or number 6 or number 7, because the amount of noise I made about it one project here when there were no breaking the ground yet. I was all over the place, but nobody paid me mine. Because everybody thought the time was too long to talk about when we'll do the research, when we raise the money, when we get there. But now everyone's excited 13 years later. So imagine if I've gotten frustrated and say, oh, you know, the thing, the way it's going, man, let me just forget it because it's going too long or whatever. We would have still been talking, like brother, get that burial, like brother, get this. We would have still been running around making all this noise.
Are you guys working along with religious?
No, we're not working along with to be honest with you, again, Tomalin, like I said, I'm a small nonprofit, right? I don't have the capacity to chase down all these multiple agencies because the way Liberia works, most of the agencies, there's not a consolidated spot that you can say, you know, for example, we work with the Pinzo City Corporation consistently. So you would think any government institution that sees that it makes sense would engage through that. But for me to be chasing every single government ministry, Tomalin, that takes up so much incredible, valuable time that I can be spending with donors, that I can be spending making the case more and more. So I said, any government official who calls me and wants to engage, I will be there at your behest to have a conversation. Our Minister Jala from Ministry of Education has been very welcoming as well. We've worked with her. We have several discussions around ways that we can explore, and those discussions are ongoing. But I will hope that government officials and government ministers can start to realize that some of their job includes scouting opportunities for Liberia and going after it, and not the other way around of waiting for it to walk over to you. To answer the question that the caller just asked about when was my why, my why really became when I came to Canada as a refugee with just the clothes on my back, and quickly realized how everything we've been told in Liberia has been a consistent lie. that people lied to us so badly that things could not be done. People lied to us that we could not buy a good toilet house for us to poo in. So we might poo in the plastic and throw it over the house. And when I say people lied to us, because they never did. People lied to us that we cannot have a good public transport system. When in Liberia, you got young children at the age of 10, 8, 9, 7 fighting for a motorbike in red light in the morning in the mud. But government employees are sitting in buses, in the employee buses going to work. Like, what kind of, we got the children dying on motorbikes in accidents to just try and get to school. We can buy employee buses for every single ministry, but we can buy it for the little children to get to school. So my why really became the point when I realized that living in Liberia, we've believed the lies that we were told, that we're not good enough for anything. I came to Canada as a refugee, I'm not even from the people country. These people believe that I could become whatever. These people were willing to give me their money to go back to Liberia. So if these people who never been to Liberia, who even knew if all what I was telling them was a made-up story, but they believed in it so much that they could give it to me to go back to Liberia. Then, Tomalin, what's the excuse that consistently for the last 40 years that our people have continued to lie to others? Come on to the people house. The whole country is a slum. Liberia is the only country where we don't have one designated place as a middle-class neighborhood that you can walk into and be like, oh, wow, this entire neighborhood is a designated, and middle-class neighborhood. We are all comfortable. You ride your car from the house to your working place. Look, you came from the war zone because the mud and the dirt, people will be wondering whether you just came from your house to your working place. So for me, my why was really the point that I discovered that we have just been lied to, that we are not good enough for the things we see on TV and the things we see other people get. When truth be told, there are people with the resources hoping that we can put something before them that is worth their dollars, their resources, and their expertise.
Hey, Leo, quickly, why do you think that is? Where do you think that lie came from? What's your theory?
I will tell you two things. One, I genuinely believe majority of these people, especially the ones who came to our education system, we memorize and pass. We really memorize and pass. We half of the time don't know what we're talking about. I can say that confidently because when I hear people talk, I'm like, no serious person will listen to that crap you're talking, and that makes sense. But number two, another part of it is this selfishness of the race to the bottom, that everybody feels that they have to become rich at the behest of everybody else. So the ones who know how to do either have made a conscious decision that it benefits them to keep everybody at a certain level so that they can continue to pillage and do all of the things that they do and walk scot-free, rather than decide to do something that will elevate, majority of the people, and then we'll have to equitably figure out how we support each other. Those are my two things. That's what I think.
Yeah. So most importantly, though, I'm getting something what is the source, right? Because with a system like this, right? Of course, students are born or people are born, right? They go to school. That school had to be established by someone. That system, right? That educational system, as we speak of, had to be established by a group of people. I'm trying to understand, because this is really important also for the audience. What is the root cause? Because in order to fix these problems, we can't just band-aid them, right? We have to name. What do you think the root cause is?
A key piece of it for me is one, when the war ended, whenever that stop point was, when we came back, those of our leaders who were entrusted with reimagining what a Liberia could look like did us the most disservice. They pretended like we could just continue from where we stopped. So that we were watch UL and open it. Tell her that. I have to say, the way they play UL stop when the war started, we can just come back where watch the bidding and continue from there. They went back to the executive mansion, clean the green water from inside, put new floor mat, not even carpet, but new floor mat on the floor, and pretended like it was a new executive mansion. They went to Relay and took the gun from the people and just pretend. Look at all of our institutions. They are still they're operating like it was the wartime. So instead of us reimagining a nation that would have been birthed from the calamity that we went through, because I keep saying everybody trying to develop the country backwards to normal day. Normal day were not good enough. So I think the main problem outside of the corruption and all the other things we talk about was when the war ended, those of our leaders who were entrusted to work in visioning a new nation lied to us that we could just continue from where we stopped. So what we've been doing, We still running the same public web bidding that was from the war normal day. We still running the same education system. Many things in Liberia have never changed from when it was broken by the war. It's still running in this broken form, and we keep telling ourselves we can just continue from where we stopped.
Build leadership. Yep.
Okay, Leo, let me ask you this question. I mean, I think just about everybody on this platform have experienced that. How many times you been told when you were conceptualizing this thing and you come to Liberia? How many times you been told, man, this thing can't work here? They play at Liberia. How many
Every time that they played like Canada, the Liberian with it. In fact, people told me, my man, they will still trust me. Good luck. Somebody even asked me one time, why you think say 1847 in the country and you think when you get money to do the thing? Why you think they haven't done it before?
And the reason why I asked you that question, because that's one of the main things that is holding us back. Nobody wants to think big. Everybody just wants to status quo, just dust it and just keep it as it is and expect big things to happen.
I don't even that. Like, I think it's that because we lie. We are people who lie. Like we don't tell each other the truth. I mean, guys, like if we really want to solve this problem, if we really want Liberia to turn a new leaf, like you can turn the page and see like a white page, and not turn the page and see the same dusty old muddy page. You have to name people. You have to tell the truth. We have to be a people of truth telling. We lie to ourselves all the time, which is why has gotten us in this state in the first place. As Leo said, we take the freaking whitewash and we paint it on the building and we consider it to be a new building. The foundation is still broken, it's still rotten to its core. And to continue down this path of, oh, Liberians just don't think big. You take a Liberian youth from Liberia right now and plug them in any other society, they will flourish. Liberians are intelligent people.
Right to Ghana, few countries over.
But we are liars. Our leaders are liars. Call them out. They are liars. They lie to the people so they can continue to suppress them. While their fences go high, the people condition, right? Deteriorate because they want to maintain that level of control. Let's speak the truth.
Let me ask you a question, Tiafa, before we go, right? Someone told me last time about the University of Liberia situation that we've been going on and on. Well, here's what I said to them. If I were given the tax to fix University of Liberia, let me tell you the first thing I would do. The first 5 years, we're going to have to draft the whole plan to reimagine Liberia building the first university campus on the African continent. I will be energy net zero. Look, this is one of Africa's oldest degree granting institutions. It has been proven time and time again that the current facilities at the University of Liberia are not fit for delivering education.
Yeah, someone here.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so just go ahead, quick.
Leo, is Thomas Garner again? I just asked the first question. I'm sorry. I thought about this one. I wanted to ask you. It's about data collection. I'm doing my research now, so I'm more about data collection. You mentioned a lot about data and how important it is. My question to you is, how are you collecting the data for the center to measure the impact that is having on the lives of people in general? And how are you using that data to help improve the center moving forward?
Beautiful question. In fact, we've built a whole data analysis system. As I speak to you, I can sit in Canada on my laptop and see how many people went to the Learning Center today. I can see who has used the Learning Center the most from the day it was open. I can see how much money was generated today. I got a heat map that shows now that the Learning Center, most traffic is coming from up as far as Carisburg and Bensonville. That's where the heat map means the highest number of people coming from Pinsville, Monrovia, all the way up to Bensonville. So we've built a system that at the Learning Center, if Tomalin shows up today and decided to pay $1 to use his space or use his card, it automatically registers. I can sit here and know that Tomalin went to the center today at 2:30 p.m. And I can also see what kind of services are the most used services. I can see what rooms are being booked the most. I can see which organizations are booking those rooms. In fact, we're looking at the data right now. It's close to 50-50 between females and males that are using the space. I can see weekly how many people actually enter the space.
That's good stuff, though.
Use what they use. If I had a chance to display, I could display the whole dashboard to you.
Bring that dashboard next time.
Yeah,
there'll be a microcosm of ours. We can extend it though.
Hey, Leo.
No, that's good stuff, though. That's good
Leo,
stuff.
let me ask you one thing on the data. Are you capturing?
Yeah.
Leo, so are you capturing users from the diaspora also?
Anybody.
Okay.
Anybody, whatever. Once you got a card, you got a barcode on a card. We track everything on it. If you went to the space today, we can track, we will know who, if Tevi Cole Tesare and venture in that space, I'll be able to tell when she went, what time she went there.
I ain't even going to SF. I want you to track me. I left footprints.
Thank you, Robert.
Robert, please sit down.
Sorry, buddy.
No, man, I enjoyed the question there, but
Everybody enjoyed it.
yeah, but I just came on to just congratulate Leo for what he's done. I remember, and I'm sitting here laughing because I remember in 2009 when I first graduated college, that was part of my vision. In fact, we did a groundbreaking for a modern library in Rock Hill, GSA Road, and at that groundbreaking at the time, the representative of District 6, who was at the time Edwin Snow. Edwin Snow was actually helped us groundbreak that district. And unfortunately, part of the challenges, and I'm glad that you talked about how long this project was, 13 years, because these things, if you really want to do something world class, it takes time. It's not a 2 day or 1 year thing. So we did the groundbreaking. And like you said, the money was not the issue. But again, because we were trying to make sure that the community was a part of it, I'm not sure how you guys got that land. We got the community involved, and the community at the time under their leadership had offered us a space where we did the groundbreaking, and we were going to provide the resources to get the library built. And after the groundbreaking, unfortunately, that didn't work because some of the folks who had actually owned the land thought that we had given some of the other guys thousands of dollars, and they were requesting their share of the money, and that kind of fell through. And we were able to do 2 reading rooms in the particular Rock Hill and at a school on the old road. But it's great to see a Liberian returning home and just getting involved and thinking big. One of the things I like you just said was reimagining our country, and I think the gentleman asked you about the why. The why is, like you said, we all have the same story, right? Escaping Liberia, being refugees in other countries, and relocating to this country, where you're put into an environment where not everything is possible as long as you're willing to go for it and seize those moments. All right, and even now as we speak, there are times where people still talk about normal days, and I keep asking, what is normal days? And sometimes you see people post pictures of what normal days were back in, and I'm like, this is not. I wouldn't accept what you call normal days in 2025 for Liberia, right? I don't think that's the standard. I don't think that's what we should be envisioning, right? So Liberia's problem is enormous, but I like the fact that you've identified an area of impact, and you are moving on in that area, and I really enjoy that. My question to you is, what is next for you, right? Because again, it's great that we have Liberians who can make these impacts in the private sector. But one of the things that I've talked about at the conference was our government cannot only encourage Liberians to return home and invest. It can't just be about money. It can't just be about skills. It can't just be about expertise. We need our full participation, right? They can't take our money and our expertise, our resources in the private sector and silence us politically. So I guess my question, I don't mean to change the topic, but what's next for you? Do you see a possibility that we could see a Representative Leo, or we could see a Senator Leo? What does that look like?
Yeah, that's an important question, Robert. And somebody touched on it earlier on, so you can touch on that one earlier before you came out. I will say this to you very, very clearly. Politics in Liberia, people say politics is about interest. That is the most corrupt statement ever adopted, and I don't know why people say that. Politics got nothing to do with interest. Politics is about good governance. It's about equitable distribution of our resources. It's about proper management. Take a dictionary and define politics. Until you write your own dictionary where you get your own adopted. Let's use the actual definition of what politics is. So it's interesting how if somebody went into the nonprofit sector and master governance and and produce outcomes that you see and go like, yeah, or somebody went into the business sector, whatever sector and do it. It's amazing how in Liberia we think certain people got a birthright to politics and not others. I said this and I will repeat it. I will remain to in fact, my major in school is political science and economics. That is my major. That's why I study. So most of the skills I'm using in other things. My work is heavily political. When I meet with people to discuss $2 million, $3 million, the first question they ask about economic stability, political stability. You think they're not talking about nonprofit at that level. When you're negotiating with people at that level, you are actually discussing politics. It's not just philanthropy and nonprofit. So I've said it and I'll repeat, Robert, I will continue to have a political, before I left Liberia, I will continue to have it till the day I die. The question I wrestle with every day when I go to bed. And by the way, you know how many people for the last 13 years, the first time Grand people said, my man, you can run, you can win. I've been at the NBA for the last almost 13 years for me to run. But I tell them the question I wrestle with is, and I have to be able to self-evaluate because I remember that your gifts and talents can put you in rooms that your character is not prepared for. Mm-hmm. Just because you may be so good and do something, it might jump you into a room that sometimes you have not built the fortitude and the character to excel at, and you will forget. And things say, just because you're sitting at that table now, it means you've earned the strides instead of coming in with humility and the ability to learn so that you can properly manage yourself in the room. So I say this, that's the questions that I wrestle with. One, do I have what it takes? Number two, am I competent enough? And I can make big mouth about things I cannot accomplish. And the only way you can know that is look at what I've done. So I don't take elected office for joke. That's such a sacred, important place to hold that your peers, hundreds of thousands of them can prefer you to say, we trust you. We give you everything to go and do this. So I would say to you, Robert, if I ever run for office, when it comes to the ambition, forget it, it exists. It will always be there. If I ever zero in to the point to say, I'm going to act on this ambition, it will be rooted not in what I can promise, but it will be rooted in the thing I can already do. So I say to people, don't be intimidated. All the young people out there who are doing great, don't let nobody tell you what they used to tell them was small. Oh, don't put your hand in the popularity beno that rich people tell. Let's not do that. If you're smart, if you're good, and you think you're able to navigate the treacherous political waters of Liberia and produce an outcome, step in the fray, do your part and be accountable for what you did or what you would do. And don't run thinking that you can only win, run knowing that you can lose too. And have your plan B, that when you lost, you don't become a useless random person randomly around from party to party. Find yourself something productive and positive you can get involved with again if you don't win. But I'll tell you, I will continue to maintain the ambition for as long as I live because it's my inalienable right. I never negotiated with God to be born in Liberia. God made that decision on his own.
Wow.
CNC come get a work again, my people.
Lastly, and I like you. I think you said that perfectly fine. And I just want you to know that there are people from different political parties who some might see you as a breath of fresh air, and others might see it as a threat, right? And in Liberia, unfortunately, we are not driven by result-oriented people, right? We're driven by liars, and we're driven by politicians who, cannot show for why they should be reelected, right? So I'm glad that you are changing that narrative, and that narrative should be the standard, regardless of whether or not you win the next election. If you do decide to win or run, or whether or not you have to run 2-3 times to get there, right? I think it's important that in the process of this new Liberia that we all desire, it's important that we drive this message of results. It has got to be about result, right? And you telling Liberians, I'm not promising you what I've not done. I'm telling you, this is what I've done as a private citizen. This is these are rooms that I've entered. These are negotiable tables that I've sat on. And if I'm able to bring $2 million to build a world-class center, I've set the standards already. this is what I can do for this district and Liberia by extension, if given the opportunity. I think this should be the standard politically in this new Liberia that we desire. So to see a diaspora Liberian set that standard, and you're not afraid or shying away from political ambition, I think that's a good thing. Again, thank you for what you've done.
Thank you. And Robert, the reason why I'm not waiting till 65 or 70 to start. If I tell young people, if you're interested and you're qualified, start now.
Hey, ain't nothing wrong with 65.
You gotta say positive for old people, right?
Yeah, in Africa, across the continent.
Right.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Oh, we're gonna small body, we're gonna small kids.
So Mike, you have no sense.
Yeah,
The old people got sense for leading.
Exactly. So we will continue to do our part, and I will say, if you run and don't win, it means you fail in your leadership. Don't blame other people. The first test of leadership is to build the team and the strategy to win. So if you run and you don't win, stop blaming everybody else. Why you win? It's your failure. You didn't succeed in doing what was required to win. So go back to your drawing board. Do what, and if you're young, you got plenty more years.
Leo, you have like 3 more years. You definitely have to throw your name in whatever hats that's most comfortable for you. We will not accept. Okay, let me just make this very clear declaration to all Liberians across the world. The so-called leaders have failed us for the last 2 decades. We need to transform Liberia. We need you not to sit on the sidelines and be just elaborate advocates. We need you to roll up your sleeves and get your hands dirty. I don't care which party you choose as your method of alignment, right? Or your framework, but we must transform the leadership of Liberia to demonstrate to the next generation of what true leadership looks like. It's not going to be enough. The dynamic of our nation, the dynamic of our state does not appreciate intellectuals who sit on the sidelines. We have to be in the midst of it. That's the only way we change the system. That's the only way we change the system. Look, no one has a birthright to the leadership of Liberia more than another person. So we must each understand that the transformation that we so desperately seek is not going to come from the other. It's going to come from us, from me, from you, from everyone else on this planet, everyone across Liberia. If you have money, you don't have money, throw your name in the hat, in the race. If you have the ideas that can transform this country into what it needs to be. We're talking about today, like drug epidemic. Do you know what type of drugs are in Liberia? Not just cannabis, right? Where it's mostly legal here now, but you're talking about synthetic drugs like kush, like cocaine, heroin. In Liberia, in this small, tiny country, 1 in 5 youth. Right? We're talking about hundreds of thousands of Liberians because they don't know any better, because what they have seen as an example in terms of leadership has failed them, have lied to them. They all go sit at their secret society, right? At their occult houses and make decisions about the majority of us. It's ridiculous. We cannot change that from the sidelines. We change that from the middle. We have to be disruptive. That's the only way Liberia stands a chance. It's today, not tomorrow, Leo. So you have 3 years. I'm throwing my name in the hat. I will tell you that right now. So it's a challenge to you, Leo. I need your name in the hat. We need to hold hands. We need to hold hands. To be able to build Liberia.
Okay, Fanta, hold on for a second.
That's what I'm going to say for now.
What do that another time?
Hey, no, Kevin, wait, 1 second. This is the closing argument. This is one of the biggest.
That's what I'm going to say for now.
1 second. So this is breaking news. Tomalin, with the power invested in you, I need her to reiterate. I know that. I know that you joined CMC. Are you breaking to us for the first time that you are anticipating or contemplating or have decided to run in 2029?
The almost said decided. He said,
I would say this year. There is no anticipation here. My name, you will see my name on a ballot. You will see my name on a ballot. You will see my name on the ballot come 2029. I'm sick and tired of this poor excuse of leadership who care nothing for the people and their welfare. All they care about is enriching themselves. When their children are sick, they're on the next flight to Accra, they're on the next flight to New York. When the Liberian child is sick in Bassa Town, they cannot even afford to go to JFK because JFK doesn't have bed to even accept them. What type of atrocity is this? This is blatant. This is blatant human rights violation.
I think you'll make a cool leader.
Ma, I need you right there with me too. You. I'm a technologist. I know what we can do with data. I need you right there.
Hello, Ramos.
No, you got me on this one. You got me on this one. But I got a question for Leo. The lady said, let pivot small. We'll come on. I can't be. We'll do a whole show with a campaign thing. You're funny.
Leo. Okay,
Yes.
We're talking about this.
I got one more thing to talk about, the whole Kuo movement, but go ahead.
Please close on that, right? But let me ask you.
So the Kuo movement, and Tomalin, I've spent the last 5 years being in Rwanda consistently. Those who have monitored my travels in Rwanda, talking to some of the people who were the originators of what is today the Rwandan genocide movement, that's become such a powerful testament of how a country can reunite and rebuild after catastrophe. Because I've been trying to understand, since the war ended in Liberia, we've placed all the premium on the perpetrators. All the air in the room have gone on perpetrators, whether for the right reasons or the wrong reason, I don't care. We sucked up the air from the victims, the hundreds of thousands of victims, including ourselves. And I keep asking people, the poor child sitter in jail in The Hague, how far did that go in helping victims find healing, right? Or joining to renewer? Don't get me wrong, I'm all for justice. But if justice is at the expense of reharming all of the victims, then I'm not interested, because it defeats the purpose of justice, to the point where the only thing we talk about are perpetrators. So I spent some time in Rwanda over the last 5 years, and I've been blessed to talk to some incredible people who are behind this movement. So as a result of that, we started something called the Kuo movement. Kuo in Pele means our voice, right? That's the word stands for our voice. And the idea of this movement—
Oh, Leah, you said that too? Hey, but my brother, and we're running.
So the Kuo movement started as this idea of saying, how can we bring back the attention? Because Liberia is the only country that since the war ended, we don't have a dedicated attention and movement or a national memorial that we actually consider, to honor and remember what we did. So the Kuo movement is focusing on the innocence of the nation that was stolen, which were children. We can debate the politics of who all were involved, but nothing the children of Liberia did to deserve what they were put through. So the Kuo movement is looking at two things. One, we will be launching the first ever memorial walk, a walk to remember, the Kukatono walk. In the first Saturday in April next year, we will begin. We will do a 14-kilometer walk commemorating the 14 years of war. We will start at what is now the PHP Park, where the 13 senior government officials were murdered, with a solemn ceremony symbolizing what we're walking away from. And we'll be walking to the Liberian Learning Center, symbolizing what we're walking to. Because it's 14 kilometers right there. So it worked out really, really well. We've mapped up the routes already. We are currently in the process of now recruiting several partners from both the diaspora, Rotary International, all these big institutions to come down. And what will happen is every year we are hoping to then expand to another county so that over 5 to 10 years, this can become a national movement. Because this is how it started in Kigali. It started with a simple walk that catch up, let up fire, and give momentum. And to crown it all, we are already investigating the possibility of building a war memorial dedicated to children only, entirely, as a symbol of a reminder of how we destroyed the innocence of our nation and that we should never do it again, and what we need to do to recover it so that people can have the space, even if it is for that one day, the space, the time, and the attention that is required for some people to finally find the opportunity to reflect on what they've gone through. The second piece will be civic clubs in high schools. We've already set our target for the number of schools that we'll be targeting. And these civic clubs will be geared towards interpreting what really happened. Most of these children have no idea why their life is the way it is today because of what happened. And I look at a case in South Africa. The younger generation in South Africa is already beginning to make some of the mistakes that led to apartheid. In Liberia, our young people are beginning to make some of the mistakes that led to the war because you know what? We've never been able to translate for them why we cannot do certain things anymore. We've never been able to translate for them why we cannot support corrupt politicians. We've never been able to translate for them why people cannot call them militants. Why nobody, I care less which political party you're from. That's a nonsensical, stupid nomenclature that anybody who developed in Liberia, we cannot come from war and be calling our young people militants and having them wearing khaki pants to be running in the streets to sing songs behind our politician. But we've never translated it for them. So guess what? They are ripe again that anybody can take advantage of them and make them do some of the same things they did by turning over 250,000 of our young people into killing machines. So the core movement is going to be bringing the attention back to where it belongs. And that is to the hundreds of thousands of victims. And this is just the beginning. And that is the kind of work we've embarked on over the last year or two. We've had a lot of people already in the WhatsApp group. We've been having 2 years, almost a year and a half of discussion already. And we are about to go public beginning next year, April, the first Saturday in April every year.
Wow. I can imagine. Look, my eyes are all set looking at 2035. That would be 2035, your wife's 2035. Because that be hopefully by that time we'll clear all these and lifelong politicians who have kept the country where it is today. They will all be hopefully they will all be out of the way. But 2035, I can see a lot of things happening. But Leo, I want to ask you, right? We have in 2026 almost, so we have about 3 years to the next election. Now, what role will your center play, your movement? What role will the empowerment play? Especially so, one of the biggest problems we find ourselves in is that most of our people who go to the polls to vote, to elect our leaders, some of them don't understand the power of the vote.
Yeah.
As a result, they, like for instance, you will tell somebody today, they will say, "Oh, I want a Tavina. Tavina will do all the good stuff. All the things she'll do is still she advocating for you, do everything for you. Election time come, Siafa will come, and he will come with the goodies right away. And all the things Tavina did over the years, all the things she was trying to do, just went in the breeze. And then Siafa will come, just take it for her, and then whatever he spent, the next 6 or 9 years, he's trying to get what he spent. You want to get it back. So now, especially so with at the conference when Madam Kanga Lawrence spoke, she talked about for Liberians to vote. The Senate is going to take it up and have a seat in a legislature for diaspora and so forth. So that a lot can be done. But what will your Empowerment Squares organization do in the next 3 years in lines of being independent and a neutral body to help with our electoral process?
And Tomalin, I'll say this to you. Maybe most people don't know this. All right, I was intentional. I could have put a learning center on private property. We could have gone to Liberia, buy a private land, somewhere, put the learning center on it. Nobody would have faulted me for that. In fact, that's what is usually done. Robert asked the question earlier about how we got that land. I was very intentional. When we do public things, Empowerment Squared, even though I founded it, right, I can be fired. I don't even have a vote on the board. When the board is about to discuss something about me, I'm asked out of the room. I cannot be in the room. I am just a staff as well. Even though I founded the organization, I don't have a vote. When decisions are being made, the board will vote and I can only observe the votes and see what the decisions are. My salary is determined by the board. So the reason we did that, Tomalin, is to finally switch this narrative that you can own a public organization. If I wanted to, I should have started my own business. Empowerment Square is a public nonprofit that solicits public funds. A Leo won't be a library, my guy, money go be a personal Leo Johnson library. So we went to the city to also demonstrate what true public-private partnerships should look like. And said to the city, we are raising money, it's from the public. Multiple people are donating their money, not because they want to make Leo popular, but because they want to see outcome. If I put stuff on a private land tomorrow, Leo get vexed and decide he won't be involved with it anymore, or Leo fall down and die, his family can claim it. It's on their property. It's their private property. So we went to this. In fact, many people warned me, Leo, the thing you do in the government, people will take it from you, blah, 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 blah. I said, so be it, but it's not my private property. So we went to Pinsville and fought, and kudos to all of the mayors, like I said, Letitia Reeves, Sivette Gibson, Mayor Penn Belcher Taylor, and now Robert Bestman, and said to them, I'm just a custodian as Empowerment Square. The day I go cuckoo and decide to go crazy, this stuff must remain the property of the Liberian people and continue to do what it was intended for. It can be conditioned on whether Leo is involved or not. So that's why we took the land at Pins. So all of y'all who wondering things, I buy private land to Pinsville City Hall. No, that's the only land all get right to. Every citizen of Liberia own that property. Nobody can stop you from going on it. The learning center will be on it forever. The day Leo get there, he now won't be involved in Leo business. He can walk away. The next group of people or leaders will be able to. The same way with Empowerment Square, the day I get cuckoo and want to resign, I can resign. Empowerment Square will continue to run as an organization. But to your question, Tomalin, this is where integrity comes in. The learning center in the West, libraries are where elections are conducted, that where voter education is conducted, is where all the civic information, because a library is an equalizer. It doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, everybody should have equal access to the space and the information. So I'm hoping, and everybody know my pet peeve around what I say, elections in Liberia, in my opinion, none of them have been legitimate, because no election has embarked on a robust voter education. The Election Commission always does voter education 3 months to the election. Which voter education you will conduct, and most of the time don't even have the resources required to do it. So one of the things I'm hoping role we can play, or the institution can play, is facilitating community-based voter education in a way where the information is at a permanent spot, that we don't have to wait for somebody to show up on a campaign. You can go to that place every day, videos, small little videos in Liberian colloquial, and information about what does it mean to be a registered voter? What does it mean to cast a ballot? What does it mean a certain person win? What are the issues that plague Liberia today that you should be asking questions about, that all the politicians say matter? That is the place, because you know what the Learning Center does? It gives you a sense of prominence, that you go to Bay, you work in the morning, will be there. So if you couldn't make it there today, you can go there tomorrow. It's not temporary. It's there for good. Any day you show up, it will be open. So I'm hoping the Learning Center can partner with some of the people who've already been doing voters education to make their work more prominent, that we now have a state-of-the-art world-class facility, that we can make this stuff available, whether it's online, in little jingles, in videos, on TikTok, in YouTube, all these places. But you have a center and a space that you can engage your community, void of any partisan manipulation. So the day Leo said I won't do it on the partisan thing or politics or whatever, Leo must step aside as well, should not have the manipulation over the facility as well.
Well, hopefully with the opening of your TV center or whatever it is, that you guys should start doing some live broadcasts on that.
The radio station we are opening is going to be only educational content.
Okay.
Entirely. So that's why I'm talking about the voter education piece. So we're not going to be doing any political content, none whatsoever. It will be across the country. In fact, as I speak to you, Tomalin, I didn't say it. We are doing Pele Ambassador now at the Learning Center every Saturday for free.
Very good.
You can go learn Pele Ambassador for free. There are instructors, there are teachers there that can teach you. So some of the things we are looking at, even some of this voter education, how do you put it in the various vernaculars or whatever that is, so that our people can hear it on the airwaves. So we'll have a dedicated radio station only for that reason. But I'm just saying all of this to say that Tomalin, I've said it. In Canada, saw better, experience better, live better. Sorry, I can't go to Liberia. I know what it means to be on a constant electricity, the joy of it. I know what it means to get access to water. You can get open the tap, it clean, you can get drink it. You don't have to worry. I know what it means to sit around and go and get up to there and go to a cafe and go to the library and sit down and do work. So sorry, I will do no less. I will stop at nothing. I said it today. Some kind of way we'll develop this country by fire, by force. I can promise everybody we will outwork you, outthink you, outmaneuver you, outrun you, and outtalk you. But we will not, if we can work with you, we'll work over you. We can work over you, we'll work behind you. We can work behind you, we'll work under you. Some kind of way we will keep this country moving somehow, some way that this country will not die.
So Leo, listen to you, right? You know, we have a system in our country system in our country where is grounded with people that undermine the public trust a lot. Yep. And now listen to you. Someone is watching from a distance. This guy, if he offers something up to disrupt the whole system and so forth, if we don't stop him in his tracks, we're lying to go further. He would disrupt us. So, are you aware that these kind of threats exist?
In fact, they already started. So let me tell you this today. It's amazing. And I'm an avid reader of history because, again, that's the only way you avoid the mistakes of the past. And people don't realize that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was one of the most ostracized and maligned and marginalized men. In fact, the Black community said Dr. King was so crazy that the only way he could see Black people being free that when he went to bed and sleep, can't talk about I have a dream. While the police were sending the dogs and, the fire hoses, Dr. King was like, oh, peaceful, no movement, kumbaya, let march. So Malcolm X was more powerful during the days of the civil rights movement than Dr. King. But let me tell you why I tell you that story. I'm pretty sure Dr. King close friends were around him, telling him, say, man, you got to be careful. And, these people won't kill you. How many times they didn't say Dr. King, including tapping a line to a girlfriend and calling, to know who getting he was talking to, how many he was sleeping with. All of that they did to Dr. King just to render him, irrelevant or so. But guess what? Here's what I say to people. Tomalin, the commitment that we've made, even the Learning Center, I told somebody a long time ago, I accepted that I may not have been alive for it to come to fruition. So that piece does not worry me. Do what you got to do. I'm pretty sure when Dr. King was executed, a lot of people thought the movement was over, right? Because he was killed. I don't even think he himself could have imagined while he was alive what would have happened after he died, how his work blew up. Till today's day, we got a monument in his honor in Washington, D.C. We got a national holiday. Who would have thought America would have made a national holiday in Dr. King's name the way he was treated? Nelson Mandela, we had a choice to stay out of jail, go to jail for 27 years. People thought he was right away. We went to jail for 27 years. So I would say, for those of y'all, the detractors, already, let's keep going.
That's very long.
Going.
And also, let me add, let me add real quick.
Okay, make a point tonight. No, closing argument, that's TV.
Closing argument, right?
Yeah, on True FM, go ahead.
Yeah, on True FM, the discussion, one was supposed to be part of the learning.
Okay, so just keep listening, you'll provide more information.
Go to Pinsville Town Hall.
To Pinsville Town Hall, yeah, if you get that, just ask for the Liberia Learning Center.
And let me just...
Johnson, Mr. Leo Johnson. Okay, so I can get you on Facebook online? Yeah, just go online.
Also,
okay.
let me just add though, Tomalin, to that.
Let me add to that. 777
Let me add to that question. Let me add to that question you asked, Leo, and I think he answered that excellently. You talk about the death of MLK, but imagine if MLK did not have like minds like Reverend Jesse Jackson, for instance, or Al Sharpton, for instance, or Andrew Young, for instance, right? These were men who not only believe in MLK, but they also believe in that ideology, right? And so in our country, when we have people like, I'm not even going to mention Leo's name, right? But look at how, and let's Toso. Look at how Alice Cummings has been treated in Liberia. Just look at that. He was an integral part, and he remains an integral part of the diaspora, right? A man who worked his life, his years in corporate America, made money for himself. This is a guy who is not coming to corrupt the system. This is a guy who don't need Liberian people money. But because they knew that he came to disrupt one way or the other, we may not agree policy-wise or folks that he surround himself with. We may not agree with the politics. But this is a man that all of us should have protected, even if we did not support him politically. So when we have people who mean well for our country, even if we don't agree with everything that they've said, we don't agree with their politics, I think it's incumbent upon us to protect them. Because one way or the other, we may not agree or align. When good minds and great people with decent character, when they mean well for our country, one way or the other, we can find a common ground. We know that they are better off than the criminals that our people have elected out of ignorance, right? And so to your question, you don't have to agree with Leo, right? But I'm sitting here just watching another young man. I'm not envious of his ideas. I'm proud of his ideas because I know his ideas means well for our country, right? And I know, and this is the mindset. The mindset is the problem in our country where we are jealous, we are envious in many, many ways. We don't appreciate, we don't embrace great minds. You can be great, I can be great. We can have 25 or a million great minds. In one way or the other, we can all transform that country with our own different ideas in different sectors and in different ways. We do not do that in our country. So if Leo decides to run today, if Fanta Kamara decides to run today, or anyone else who we believe is not part of the status quo, they are not part of that corrupt system, we know that they will be fought. This is the reason why we are demanding from the government. When you come and you encourage and you're asking Liberians to return home, don't just ask for our expertise and our skills. We demand our full participation because we're natural born Liberian citizens. Nothing can disrupt that. Nothing can change that. This is the mindset. So even if Leo didn't make it, we gotta push that Fanta Kamara makes it. Even if they come after Leo from our respective political parties, you may be supporting CDC, you may be supporting Unity Party, but you can support these political institutions and still recognize that these are Liberians that we should support. Because frankly, we're not getting any younger. We're not getting younger. And the country is digressing. The country is not moving forward. So we need to have great minds, people who are visionary, people who have ideas, people who have implemented these ideas. They're not just talk. They are talk and they're acting upon that. We need to encourage these people. So Leo, you will not end up like MLK because we are smarter now.
Lord of Jesus. Lord of Jesus.
There is no way.
I like to play the worst case scenario.
There is no way they will tap into these phones to talk about how many girlfriends or who's sleeping with who to tell your wife and to discuss. Because you see, when people cannot defeat you politically, when people cannot defeat your policies and your ideas, they will come to your home. They will come to your home. They will come to your personal life, right? And so even if we're smart now, if we got to whatever we have to do to make sure that we are monitoring those calls and to make sure instead of having certain conversations on the phone, we have to have them in person. We will do those things. We are smart now. This is the 21st century. But nothing, absolutely nothing should stop us who are young Liberians, who have all of these ideas. You don't know everything. We don't know everything. But nothing should stop us from returning home and being fully participatory in our election, in what it doesn't have to be politics alone, right? But look at what you're doing in the private sector. If you can do these things in the private sector, this is the case Alex Cummings made, and he was frowned on by the status quo. If you can do these things in the private, our election, I'll close on this note, our elections and public officials should be about results.
Yeah.
If you're running again for a representative, what have you done? For the 6 years or 9 years as senator, the people gave you, what have you done? What transformation have you carried in Grand Bassa? We don't see that in our country right now. So
and
Leo, we got you, man. We got you.
And you know what is funny is this. I tell people, right? It's different. Melanie, who sold kerosene, Bogowi Bakop, Kokodoro Bakop in Rele Market, who walked the streets of Kobacho Market. And God bless me, like I said, not because of anything different. I will say what is different. For example, you want to attack the learning center? No problem. One people just sit on the ground. It's owned by the Liberian people. You can't go say you're attacking Leo private library because no, it's not owned by me. And you know what's funny? I laugh all the time. Forget the one out there. I'm announcing to you that I got $1 million in the bank for the second building. I said $1 million. I don't say they say.
100,000.
We already have $1 million in the bank for the second building to get started already. And you know how that happened? Let me tell you what innovation.
Drum rolls.
When we got through with the first building, right? When we brought back our report. Some people saw the video live. One man stood up in a room. We haven't even started fundraising for the second building yet. We have not started. We're just thanking all of the donors who contributed to the first thing. But the report was so impressive. A man stood up and said, Leo, I know you're not fundraising yet, but we'll kick the fundraising started. He wrote a check for $1 million on the spot. Not a pledge. Not a commitment. He wrote a check for $1 million and dropped it, right?
Money green.
It tells you that, Robert, like you reckless said, for me, I've said it, I'm an honest man. Integrity is important for me. Who I am, what I am is what I will be. If you disagree with it, That is okay. Nobody can do the intimidating thing when they're looking for a video clip to say for you saying you will never run in Liberia again. So then down the road, when you say you were running, they bring a video clip and play it back.
Who cares?
Integrity. Leo say you're not coming wrong. Mark it down. Write it in your diary, in your calendar, on your computer. Leo said his ambition will always be a lie. So watch behind you. When you're screwing up, he walking right there. The only person that can change it, that I get to convince my wife. Unless my wife say no. So if you want to go convince my wife.
She's already on board. She's already on board in spirit.
But other than that, we will fight for Liberia on all fronts. Political,
absolutely.
Social, economic, spiritual, all of it. We'll fight.
Yeah. Look, we have to be.
We have a caller. Go ahead, caller.
Oh, thank you very much. This is SB Don calling from Toronto, Canada. And thanks for having me on the show. It's happy to see my ran away brother Leo on the show. But Leo, you know, I'll see you. I'm coming to Hamilton. Actually, I know you're back, so I'm coming to Hamilton. But I just called quickly because, you know, you guys are talking about something that is so dear and significant to me as a young Liberian. And Robert touched on something that is so important. Leo and I, we discuss this all the time. Not too long ago, we were discussing the Learning Center in Liberia and all the different things that so many young Liberians from the diaspora are doing in Liberia, and how we're trying to change the perception of how we contribute to our country. And I had a gentleman, I'm not going to say his name, from the U.S. that called me and said, "Oh, so you guys are, you know," he jokingly said, "You know, you guys are sitting over there and you're letting, you know, Leo stay in the spotlight from here." So I'm like, "We spotlight."
Thank you.
You know, I don't understand when you say you sit in the spotlight, because what I do professionally is completely different from what Leo does.
Thank you.
And as a well-mixed Liberian, when I see Leo doing something, benefits the country, not just momentarily, but for the long term, it's a good thing.
Yes.
So my job and my more responsibility is not to compete with Leo, but to support Leo.
Right.
And that's what Robert is saying. I was in Liberia, Leo and I was in Liberia together in March, and I told him this story. We had a meeting, and he was doing something, and I stepped out of the Learning Center to make a call. There was a Liberian gentleman and his wife or his significant other that was standing outside. They didn't know I was listening to them. And as I walked by, he was saying to the lady how excited he was that when his daughter leaves school, she has somewhere she can go that have computers, that will have electricity, that is safe, that his daughter can be and further her learning ability and push her educational journey. And I'm not saying it the way he said it, because he said it with so much passion and so much enthusiasm. And that meant something to me. I'm not saying this because I know Leo personally. It could have been any other Liberian who had initiated this project. So hearing him say that, it meant something to me. If you ever follow me, I know sometimes I joke a lot and I go at people a lot. My goal as a Liberian has always been focused on the next generation. When I was growing up in Liberia, we were just looking for a way out. Everybody, all of you guys have your stories and your journey and how you came abroad and the things you've done and accomplished. When would the next generation in Liberia say the same things that we've been saying? Mm-hmm. Our journey, what we look forward to, who paved the way for us. You look at the young people in Liberia today, they don't know who's going to pave the way for them. They're just there. So I call to say that I'm proud, not just of Leo, but all of you guys on there, all of the contributions that you make to our country. You know, your professional expertise, the way that you contribute to Liberia. And eventually we're going to get there. Like you said, Robert, we are smarter now. Mm-hmm. We're independent thinkers. You cannot pursue us anymore with lies and deception. And those politicians in Liberia know it. And as much as it may look like a dead end, and we get very frustrated at times, we're slowly making progress, and we're getting there. And the reason why this is important is because we all can turn our backs and leave, because we all have our professional, destination where we make our money, and we're okay in the diaspora. But we're going to fight for that next generation. The success of a country is not based on how successful politicians are today. It's based on what the next generation can look upon and how successful they can be. Because when the next generation becomes successful, that's glaring evidence that the generation after that will be even more successful. So we're going to keep pushing. So thank you guys very much for having me on the show. I appreciate it.
It is amazing who will invest in Liberia up to a certain level, and you expect that the president should not have an ambition. How can you have 2 decades of investment in a place, then you dare think that the person is not supposed to have an ambition of protecting that in any way, whether it's politically or socially or economically? So the only people who should be asking this question are the people who done nothing, got no interest in Liberia. That then we should be asking.
So, so Leo, having said that though, let me ask you this question because you were at the conference, the diaspora conference. So let me ask you this question. I wrote my piece about the conference. I expected, and I published that. I expected, and I also have proposals, multiple proposals from my area expertise. I'm into the hospitality, tourism area field. And I often hear people, brag about Ghana tourism. In a few months they will be coming up with, I think, Dirty December, and people have said, well, we have our own, and I said, what is it? Well, we have December. No, December is not. It's not an idea based on infrastructure, investment, and the uplifting of tourism, right? We got to go beyond that. But beyond, so I've talked about my disappointment that the government did not come with concrete proposals, right? With regards to
Robert,
how do we?
Robert,
Yes.
Can we have somebody got a call? After then, you're running back, please.
That's fine. I'm okay with that.
Okay, go ahead, caller.
Thank you so much for having me. I just have a quick question for Leo and Ashley Fanta too. Leo, this is Eugenia. Thank you so much for everything that you've been doing. I'm excited to be part of the Code movement. I can't wait to see everything that we're able to accomplish. But my question is, with the political arena the way it is in Liberia right now, with you saying that you may, hold an office or may not in the future, you and also Fanta, how are you able to make an impact or difference in a pool of people like that with a different mindset, where everything that's going to be passed or done is going to be on majority votes? Yeah. And if just the two of you are, 1 or 2 people who have a different mindset of moving the country forward, and if the majority of the people are not, and still doing brown envelope tactics and things like that, how are you going to be able to make an impact?
I think that's thank you, Eugenia. Only you will ask that kind of complicated.
But Leo, let me add my question that you answered.
Go ahead, Robert.
Because right now I vessel Tomalin, that Eugenia woman, don't never cut me off for Eugenia business. But we'll face our beef. She got beef with that Eugenia woman. But anyway, but I think she asked a fun question. But because you were a part of somewhat a part of that, right? I thought it was a great opportunity, but not much of an engagement with the diaspora, Liberian diaspora. I expected segments into the president already has an agenda that is centered around tourism, education, roles, and so forth and so on. And there are challenges. The government have admitted to that, right? So I expected them to reach out to diaspora professionals in each of these different sectors. They have breakout sessions. I went to the breakout sessions and a panel discussion on tourism development, bringing hospitality and tourism expert to discuss how we can elevate the tourism sector, right? IT, right? Bringing folks from the IT professions and talked about how that can be done, and so forth. I did not see that. So just in 1 minute, while you answer Eugenia's question, what was your takeaway from that conference, and how hopeful are you that some of what was discussed can actually be implemented or put into action?
Yeah, it's a very tough thing. First of all, Robert, I would say clearly that I think sometimes we just don't know how to take advantage of opportunities, right? What's his name? Ambassador Emmett Dunn is someone I know very well, that I'm close to, who was spearheading all of this. So a conference is put together, right? The convening of it. And you have stakeholders, the Liberian government, and other people that came there. Unfortunately, it's almost like if I put a conference together and I invite you, Robert, and say, Robert, I've created this conference, I'm giving you, a speaking slot as a stakeholder. Come and make your case. And then Robert comes there and just give all kinds of things, So first of all, I must congratulate the organizers, because anybody who's organized an event before, just from an event logistic perspective purely, I must give it. But this is the challenge in working with government, and and especially given how a Liberian government is set up. So I agree with you that honestly, I think there could have been some tangible offerings, especially with the government having an opportunity to be in the diaspora space that gain all the attention, whether rightfully or wrongfully. Those that disagree with the way the conference was done, those that agree, the good thing is you have everybody attention. Even the people that did not agree with it also were making their case as to why they thought it could be done differently. This was an opportunity to walk away from that room making some significant, in my opinion, policy positions that will leave the diaspora going like, let's follow this 1, 2 and see what happens, right? But unfortunately, I didn't get it. I got a lot about what is already being done and has been happening. But if what is already being done and has been happening was enough,
then the conference was not necessary
in the first place. So I think there was a gift presented to the stakeholders by Emmett and his team, who put together a beautiful convening, and especially given the fact that it was all broadcast, live. It was all recorded. This could have been a resounding message being shared far and wide long after the conference. Unfortunately, I seriously think there were big missed opportunities. If I were President Walker, honestly, in your case, I would have said to every single minister, major ministry, I need one serious policy position for consideration on my table that would be a direct incentive for me to announce at that conference to the diaspora.
Thank you.
That would make somebody get up tomorrow and say, you know what, let me try it 1 year and see if they follow through on it. So in good faith, I hope, government stakeholders are listening, that it's almost like they gave you this opportunity. Someone organized a diaspora conference, bring over 500 people. At one point, up to 1,000 people got a room was choked at one point. So come and just sell yourself. And, they gave you the unlimited stage. They said, go do your thing. And, the conference organizer can detect to you what you might do or what you shouldn't do. And a lot of the things that were said, great things, by the way, some of them I believe are great. But my question is, first of all, the Liberian government does not have a repository as a space for information that I can wake up today and go one space and pull all of that out. So I would have thought, even if it is 1 or 2 major policy decisions that would have shaken the diaspora, I'm talking about immediate implementation for people to say this is it. So that's my answer to that, Rabbi. The next thing on Eugenia's question. Eugenia has a very important question, and I will say this to people. You got to meet our people where they are at. Everybody in Liberia has a reference point. Anybody under the age of 40 years old in Liberia that has never left, never traveled, never went anywhere, your reference point is the war, because by the time you started to know yourself, it was the war. So right now, the country is paradise. I tell people all the time, when they say young people are stupid, they don't vote for the right thing. I say, no, they're not stupid. They are voting based on their reference point. Because if you knew yourself and it was the war, where everybody was there running around, and you've never traveled anywhere before to see anything. Right now, no gun shooting, no rocket dropping. You can get a little 1 cup of red, 1 man, 1 cup. You cook it behind the hole, you eat it, nobody can go to the country has improved in your opinion, because your reference point, you hear young people tell you, you are here doing war. You are here doing, because that is there. People tell us, no one day the Liberian dollar or 1-to-1 with the US. What kind of total story is that? Now, who's supposed to believe that thing? We destroy the country so much that there is nothing left to show, to say this is what it was. You telling people, say, oh, no one day we have Wastewater Airway, Liberia Airline. Young people looking at you going like, okay, yeah, whatever. So how can you who are living normal day, your people in plastic today, your cool? How can you who are living normal day, the country looking like dirty like day, the US, but you're just okay with it? So how can I believe the story you telling me now about normal day when you living in the poo and this filth and you seem just comfortable with it? But you telling me, say, once upon a time, you had a paradise that you were living in, they stole that paradise for you, but you're just cool. You're not vexed. You're not upset. So to answer Eugenia's question, I don't think the most effective thing to do in a house or in the legislature, if someone like me was there, is to say, go pass bills and all of it. Most of the laws in Liberia are unenforceable. You don't have any mechanism for enforcing them. I always tell people, I'm like, people say, oh, Liberia got good laws on the book. You got a police officer making $150. You catch someone in a crime and they tell the police officer, say, calculate your 10-year salary. I will put the cash down right now. Choose whether you will take me to the station or you collect your 10-year salary. In fact, you can run away and not come back. If you want, don't come back to your post. So we don't have the mechanism for enforcing laws. What I will focus on, number one, the whole county development fund, you read $1 million. If I were a legislator that can raise $5 to $10 million annually. Because when you are an elected official, you're almost like a little governor by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You literally are a little governor by yourself. If I can mobilize and raise $10 million and turn my district into a model, right, for what the place should be, and turn my district into a governance structure that allows the residents of my district to experience a different semblance of infrastructure development. And I'm talking about anything where you go put 10 bag of red to Nizo, then you finish, you go put 5 gallons. I'm talking about that kind of thing. I'm talking about targeting schools.
Yeah.
If I can model all the schools in my district, right? I can tell the Minister of Education, Madam Minister, I will be raising $2 million this year to allocate directly on the Ministry of Education because I want to see XYZ schools built, but I want it as part of the Ministry of Education ecosystem. Even though I will monitor the funds and provide it, I don't want to go do an email Leo J Institute. No, I want it to remain a public institution, but we will raise the money. If we can raise incentives for our teachers to make sure outside their government salary they're getting health benefits, right? They're getting incentives for training, professional development that we are actually providing. That's another way of getting into good governance. Because guess what? The day I say I want to put a bill forward for standardizing how all Liberian public schools should look like. So Malika and say the vote against, say, great, I will just take it to the market. I say, I see the thing in my district. I say, I want to do it across the country. Or the people say they now want it. So please, your thoughts to your people there. So I'm thinking about it a different way. If I was a legislator, I would try to raise $5 to $10 million every solid year. I ain't even got to argue over county development fund. You can eat it. I would tell the people, say they want to go bring us out, that they want we build here, because we got to do something. Look, the problem in Liberia, you got to overwhelm it.
Mm-hmm.
You got to overwhelm it to the point where people can't avoid you. When they tinsel you there. When you're not there, something you did is there. So for me, I will not go about it by just going to say, let's pass laws. Our job is to pass law, representation, oversight. Oversight of what in the budget of 500 million to 700 million. That's the cost of one properly built hospital. The whole country, if we build one properly built hospital, I used to work for a small university, 36,000 students, $727 million was their budget. 36,000 students. So how many ways we will pass laws for the one budget here to do all? So for me, say you're already corrupt, I lay money. And I need committee. I need to be on any committee, now to be any committee chair to raise $10 million. I can come out here, raise it, set up a model for how you can go about methodical development in your district, but make it part of the system at the same time, so you can provoke people to demand more because they've seen that someone has done it, so it's not impossible.
Yeah.
You got a question? That's why Go ahead. You live. You live.
Yes. Hi. Good evening, everybody. How's the panelists? How's the panel?
Hello.
Very well.
Of course, I appreciate all of you. This is Letitia Roberts, but I just want to tell you, Leo, stop doing this. What you're doing to us, because you make us so excited, knowing that all that you have done and all that is possible to be done. And all these people sit here that play with our country money cannot even do the little bit. But moreover, why I'm happy to hear you say you have political
aspirations.
Thank you for the word. And I don't want to see this, Leo, for 2029. You know why? I don't want them to start giving you that kind of hope where they will. You have people targeting you and already strategizing to limit you. Because just as Tomalin asked you, you know that when they hear that you have good, you can do it. They see your potential. We don't want them to start strategizing as they did with Mr. Cummings. So once again, I want to thank you. I know at one point I was one of your people looking at, but right. I want you to put it to the side. I want to work in that venue with the library, the learning center. Yeah. Thank you.
No, let Letitia, thank you. The thing about me, I'm a long game man. I took 13 years to build one library and give us. So the people who want strategy give me them, I be long game because nobody will petition me. The day I made a decision, myself will announce it, because petitioning you didn't know whether you wanted to do something that other people can tell you before you click to your mind. So I don't have a timeline, to be honest with you. I have critical questions to answer for myself. If I ever answer those questions satisfactorily, I will be comfortable by coming up to tell people that I want to do this because I've answered the question, I've done the homework, and I'm convinced I can do it. So to your point, no, and I'm calling it. I hear people waiting for me to name. I say till the day I die, we'll continue to go.
Let me interject here because I do have to go. I do have to go make dinner for my husband here. But just final words. You know, it's interesting when, and Leo, I don't know if you know my story. I'm sure probably the entire country is
a good chunk of it the last time.
Is familiar, and we cannot afford the cost of Liberia continuation towards this path of deterioration. It cannot continue. These are urgent times. The times that this is like an emergency. We don't have the time to sit down and say, "Oh, I beg you, don't you small girl, don't put your hand in politics, or you small boy, don't put your hand in politics." Like, do you understand what it means to be not at home in someone else's country? You think Liberians in the diaspora want to stay in the diaspora forever? We want to be in Liberia. We want to return home. That's where our ministry is, as we say, right? How can you be comfortable in someone else's house? Who are you as a person? What does that say about you as a person? You go to someone else's house, you just put your foot on their couch, you take that remote, you put their TV on, and that's life for you? No, we must say no to that. Liberia is our home. So whatever juju, witchcraft, secret society, sitting down tying knots on our knee, you will lose. Because you know why? The devil is a liar. You will not threaten us. The same finger you're pointing at us, we're pointing it right back at you. You will not traumatize us as you did by subjecting us to so many years of war. You think we're not tired? You think we're not tired? So we must sit down and say, "Oh no, let's continue to give these people who is their God-given right to lead us down the path. They are leading us to health. For those of you who believe in God, they're leading us down to hell. And we are going to continue to follow them and put them on pillars because they are what? What makes them better than us? What makes anyone that is Bundy better than Pele or Madingo or Vi or Gola? Who are you? We are all Liberians. Nobody. And that's why I said earlier, we will no longer sit on the sidelines because it has made you comfortable. That's why you are so emboldened to continue to disrespect us and degrade us in the way that you continue to do. Who gave you the right? How dare you? How dare you to think that we will continue to relinquish our civil liberties to buffoons who don't even understand how to draft simple policies to move nations forward? Liberia just got into the 5 million. We have trillions of dollars worth of minerals under our soil. You sit in front of a different leader. You sit in no, hold on, because it's urgent. It's urgent. It should be in every single Liberian. You sit in front of another leader and you say, yes, sir, please come and scan the minerals that are under my soil. Why do you have the Ministry of Lands and Mines? In 2025, you have geological tools to scan and survey every mineral that is under your soil. How dare you insult the intelligence of Liberians? Why should we continue to be subjected to bad leadership and poor governance? Why? Because we're incapable? No, look at what we have done in the private sector. We have raised billions of dollars for private companies, for public companies, for other entities. You think we cannot do it for Liberia? Because I have God-given right to rule? The audacity, I dare you. 2029, my name will be on the freaking ballot. I dare anyone say they're going to come after me to threaten. Look, they have continued to threaten me, and I welcome it. You think by taking me out is going to make you sleep at night? No. You will be miserable. You will only make me a martyr. You will only make me a hero. You will only make my name to live on like my ancestor, King Saboso Kamara, until the end of time. You're fooling yourselves. We will no longer take your nonsensical leadership. We're going to take over, and it's best by now you just vacate. Make it easy for yourself and go without shame, because we're sick and tired of this. Why can't you just be servant leaders? Be in servitude to the people. It's not that difficult. It's not that difficult. We lose $1 billion every year to IFF, illicit financial flows. Where the heck is that money going? Why can't you try to close those levers so you can redirect that into the infrastructure of the country? You think we don't know what's happening? So you will sit there and say, oh, you know what? That small girl, man, she just talking, man. Oh, you know what? Let me tell her man to discourage her from politics. Trust me, I am not a politician. I will never be a politician, but I'm a servant leader, and I will continue to serve my people until the day I die. So kill me and make me a hero. Make it easy for me. Look, all of us are going to die. So if you think I'm afraid of death, Leo should be afraid of death, or every single Liberian who dare to do something different should be afraid of death because you threaten them. It's on you. And the disgrace is to us, all of us. We should be our brother's keepers. If Leo is doing something, go applaud him, support him. If someone else is doing something, go applaud them. Do not envy them. Do not be deceitful. You laugh in his face tomorrow, only for you to plot his death tomorrow. Who are you as a people? Where is your soul? Where is your sanity? You're going to allow a few people, a few handful of people to sit and make decisions for you for the rest of your life. And you think you're living? You might as well just drop dead. I'll end with this. This is Liberia. This is a land for all of us. We are all entitled, if we choose to aspire to any form of leadership. And no one has the right to tell us not to or to discourage us otherwise. I dare to see that person. You better whisper it in the corners. Don't say it to my face, because you already know what blood runs through my vein.
Go make the men dinner.
Let's go make our husband dinner.
Drink more tea. I hope you feel better.
I will. Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening.
Yeah, but Victor, just a quick question for you.
Can I come in?
How come we're not able to build schools? So since Madam Sharif's time, we've been talking about the Liberia education system is a mess. How can anybody convince me in good faith that, look, let me say it this way. We live in a country where there are more young kids at every junction selling than in classroom. That is not normal. There is some cognitive dissonance going on in Liberia. We live in a country, as you drive around Liberia, you just get a group of young people just sitting down with nothing to do, unproductive. That is not normal. Like I said, 10-year-old kids in the rain, dropping off pen in accident and dying. That, just trying to get to school. That is not normal. Look, just because you poor, and I mean you might be dirty. I've always made that argument. Poverty and dirty are not equal. They're not the same thing. You can be poor and while you get your wash and make it wash and wear. Wash it, press it, our own names will make or do it. Those days when we never had enough. So for me, until anybody can convince me that it is impossible to build state-of-the-art schools in Liberia, I've never finished my thought on UL. I was saying, if I had UL, somebody asked me for a vision for UL, I will ensure we will raise the money to build the first energy net zero university campus on the African continent. Tomalin are banging the rooms. Rich people are looking for innovation that can excite them. They're not looking for small. Sit before a multi-millionaire. Present them an opportunity to say, I am giving you an opportunity to turn one of Africa's oldest degree granting institutions ever on the continent into something that will become a model for the next 50 years. Build for the future. Don't build for the past. Those who want to go backwards, let me say to you today, no, I'm not going normal time. Nobody taking my laptop from me. Nobody there no laptop. Nobody taking my cell phone from me. Nobody there no cell phone. Nobody taking my data from my phone. So y'all who want to develop the country back to normal day, y'all go back to the time where there was no internet, no laptop, no cell phone. We will develop the country for the next 50 years where technology, AI, robotics, and whatever will become the order of the day. So until anybody can convince me that you can build Liberia with 500 to 700 million is a joke. The price of a properly built hospital. So if even all the government employees were volunteering with nobody taking pay, it's voodoo economics to say you can transform Liberia on a $700 million budget. It is the cost of one single hospital that is properly built with all the facilities and equipment in it. So we need to have a different conversation.
Well,
Leo,
yeah, go ahead, Sonami, go ahead.
Thank you, Chief. Leo, I mean, I'm just sitting here and listening. Honestly, I really don't have a question as such. I know you touched on this earlier. I just wanted you to elaborate a little bit. I know the president was at the opening of the program, and this is a huge opportunity. I'm just wondering if you've had any at all, any overtures from this government, from the education sector. I mean, this is a learning center, which really is fixing to change, to reorient a lot of the way we do things. I mean, you're talking about our construction mentality, you're talking about, the type of layering, you're doing in terms of the education, the opportunities and all of that. There's a lot of big gain from this. I was just wondering whether you've had any indication at all from any government entity as to an attempt to collaborate with you in any way.
Not as of this point. And I remain open, like I've said it publicly and privately. And I know I've engaged with a lot of different government officials, and they've all been very friendly and cordial, like, when we talk about this. And they all have congratulated. Most of them have called to congratulate and talk about how this is great. But in terms of intentional collaboration or anything, we really haven't. And here is my understanding of it. Most of the time when you go to Liberia and you're chasing down government officials, the sentiment can be created that you're trying to lobby for something for yourself. So it quickly gets misunderstood sometimes by the people around the officials. And then a certain type of sentiment is directed at you because people think you're there to get something you want. So what I've always done to all the government officials, some of whom I know very well and good people, I've always tried out my best to make the information fully available to them. And this is what we're doing. Here's what we're doing. You are government. You know your priorities, right? I don't. I'm not on the inside there. So I will hope that our government institutions can start leveraging. Look, let me put it this way. I'm telling you, I can work with you to try and raise $30 million to replicate this across the country. What more offer do I need to make? Let's have the conversation. Let's explore it. So I'm, again, sending this overture to entities and governments that see an opportunity for us to work together. We will be open. I said it, President Bouaka is not the president for Unity Party. He is the president of the Republic of Liberia. He is my president also. Until the next 6 years, those who don't want President Bouaka, when the elections come, work hard to get him out. But he is elected for 6 years. So our job is, if President Bouaka is launching any initiative that pushes Liberia forward in the right direction, we will join it. It doesn't matter to me. So that's why where people think when election over, depending on what side you are.
So you joined the FOIA project?
You own your own. And I know the project. But like I've often said, my attitude is Liberia, and Liberia will outlast President Bouaka. Turn you. President Bouaka will be president. President Saliva, not too long ago, Lola, she was never going to leave. She left. President Weah here, Lola at that time were never going to finish. He left. President Bouaka is here. Everybody acting like Liberia will end at President Bouaka. And that is why I've said, Tomalin, we need to shift from political agendas to nation building. Nation building will take 40 to 50 years of consistency, regardless of who is president, of remaining focused on what matters. So for me, to your point, Victor, I wish and I hope our power brokers and those that are in government with the influence and opportunities for collaborations like these, we will avail ourselves to work and make it happen. But if not, we will continue to still do the work anyway, regardless.
So, Leo, let me ask you a follow-up to what Mr. Nagbe asked you, though. Yes, people, he talked about collaboration, but, sometimes people go to collaboration, people want to, see. I'm just curious, as you were saying, and more when I see you and see what you're doing, I think that people feel now like you're obligated to do this just because you put a model down. So now it's become a Leo thing versus this is government that should be leading the effort because Leo have already put a model. So my thing there, have any government agency reach out to you that say, hey, come do a demo for us, you know, whether one ministry or a couple of ministries, come do a demo for us, you know, just do something, how we can replicate this or even do it another way or whatever before we get to collaboration? Have they ever reached out for anything of that
No,
nature?
that has never happened. In fact, I've made the case that why isn't every single government public building designed like this? Right. Imagine, tell me, we've saved 37,000 United States dollar in energy costs. In fact, that building can exist in the middle of the forest because it needs no external source. It repurposes rainwater. It uses solar and it uses solar energy. It's earth compressed bricks, right? It's the soil from under your feet, pretty much. So I've even argued that, you know, innovative wise and cost saving energy, you know, environmentally friendly energy footprint. Why aren't we designing or trying to design every public building like this that uses very little energy, is self-sustaining, and will imagine how the pressure on LEC would be reduced if every public building in the country was using these type of technologies that's not relying on LEC or functioning or not. So no, I have not received it. I mean, my own sister, Seleke Queen, said she's not buying wig for her birthday. She would donate to us.
I already told my folks I'm going to get the membership, whether they go there or not.
And that would be a big donation. You know, the weekend, the expensive.
What if I say human hair or that good money?
But Leo, what I would like to say, look, you're very inspiring, and I'm getting messages from people that hope you can come again soon, because it was a very enlightening conversation we had tonight, and I'm telling you, everybody brought everything we needed to make this conversation so good. And honestly, we're talking about transforming Liberia to change Liberia. I mean, I love the way you answered the question, that you didn't come and try to dodge the question and pretend, you know, like most people do. Honestly, when you started this project, I'm very sure you weren't thinking about, say, I won't be in politics. No, you're doing it for the passion you have, the passion, the love for your country, you know. So it's good, and so it's just good that if many of us can have this same kind of mindset, will be good. That instead of sitting on the sideline, we all got to be involved, especially 2029. We're being involved for the forward march of that country. You can't sit one place and think like, bro, automatically face by yourself. No, everybody can get involved, because like when I see certain things in our country today, like I listen to the Chief Justice justifying why his son why he recommended his son for appointment, and he justifying it, and then later on his son had to resign to prepare his resignation. I mean, you know that, like, bro, we are far from reality. So, I mean, honestly, I really appreciate you coming, and hopefully we can continue this conversation and we can have more time. Like the TCA, you know, if you have access at any time, you're always welcome. I'm proud of the work you're doing in Liberia. At least I told people, I will find that picture when you and I went on that site. It was, I mean, when that site that day, you drove me in the car, went there, and I was like, I said, this guy, he's thinking too big, but at the end of the day, it was 2022, I think. Yeah.
It was 2022.
22, yes. Yeah. Went there, and he said, this is what I plan to do in the next year or so, and today is history. So, but guys, you guys can give your party comment to Leo, and then let Leo give a party comment to us. But I think it has been a very good time with Leo, and I think we learned a lot tonight. So, but
let me comment. So again, brother Leo, thank you for all you're doing. Wishing you all the best. But my question has to do with this political ambition.
Hey, man, they say parting comments, then you say question.
Opening comments.
Politics.
You say parting comments.
Okay, maybe you can answer it when closing.
You then want to talk about Sister Mariah, how she patronized. You know, you got to bring
the question you asked, Ricky?
Who talk about Mariah? Ask Mariah question. I was saying, Mr. Nagbe.
What the question you asked, Ricky?
No, but I've been trying to ask, but you know, Mr. Nagbe came in.
Well, ask a question.
Ask a question in your parting and your closing. That's okay.
Okay, no, my party is just basically appreciating you, you know, for all you're doing and wishing you well. As I said, whenever I go back to Liberia, I will go to the learning center. You know, I feel like the facility is very good because I've watched a lot of video for the learning center. But my question, has to do with this political ambition you keep talking about. Do you intend to partner or collaborate with any political party in Liberia? Because I hear this Nagbe.
There's one thing.
I come in. I hear Mr. Nagbe kind of trying to hustle on you.
You got any political party on your mind?
They see when they recruit our sister for that. So I just want you to clear that air.
Yeah.
But I know you've been affiliated indirectly with a party. I don't want to call it party.
No, I'm not affiliated indirectly. Yeah. But let me make this clear. I'm one of the people that don't like to leave any room for doubt. We can't let nobody to guess around me to know where I stand. First of all, I've made this argument publicly over and over. I will join my small nonprofit I run. I get to do audited financials every year. I will only consider even discussing any political party when you can submit to me your audited financials. I need to see where you get your money from and how you spend it. If you want to know if an organization is well run and properly functioning, in fact, it's a law. The election law in Liberia requires that every political party is supposed to submit.
That is saying that CMC is out.
So for me to even consider, thinking about a party, I need to see your audited financial because it will let me know what are the way you raise your money, the sources of your money, and how you spend it will help me know what are something I'm willing to put my name behind. All the other things we can talk about it and yama. Me, I follow the money when I'm in institutions. So let me make it clear. I am in none. Until this point, none of them, I've requested it from all of them, have sent me an audited financials that I can see. So until that is met, if we're talking about good governance, we can speak on one side of our mouth. And then we come and re-support. It's a violation of the election laws. I'm surprised that by now NEC has yet to come down on anybody to just leave it open-ended. Send me your audited financial. Once I review it, I'll be in a clear position to tell you, say, which party I think I get feel. Until then, I can't even have a conversation about considering any.
Wow.
Thank you, Brother Leo, and wishing you all the best. Glad that CMC is out of your principle.
Don't mind
that. You don't want to have that.
Thank you, Seva. You want to go or I can go?
No. The progressive, I'll let the progressive go before I go.
Nah, look at that. Listen, Leo, like I indicated, I mean, I have nothing to say but to thank you for at least providing us with some reason to smile for Liberia. I mean, if I should say that, in these times of so much, downers and bad news, I think this is really a bright spot, and I wish you all the best. I hope, God will continue to bless you and the organization to continue to help our young people aspire to head and see what is possible. And so, I really pray for you. I'd like to congratulate Ms. Kamara as well for, plucking up the courage.
On the breaking news.
Breaking. For plugging up the courage and and this is what we all need in these times. I think there really is no neutrality. You gotta be for something, and so I congratulate her, and I will join her and everyone else to encourage you. Don't be shy about what you want to do, just as you have not been shy about what you see and what you intend to do. This is how Liberia will develop. We have to be bold and upfront. I don't care who is going to have bad feelings or whatever it is, but it is all for our country. So thank you all very much. It has been good, great opportunity to be here tonight. Thanks to TCA for that.
I thought you would be last. Let me go. Thank you, Victor. Why are you acting eyes this for?
She always bulldozing. She's not jumping.
Oh yeah,
of course.
I'm going big way. I wanted to be peaceful. I'm big way.
I want to close. I want to go eat.
Victor say he now one problem. So I mean, Safa say he now one problem. So
he knows. I want my trouble. No, that's serious though. Leo, good show. Thanks for all you do. I know we talked behind the scene, but thanks for all you do. One more ask though. I know your plate is running over, and you're probably doing it because you're doing it on radio stations and on your posts. But just because we're in the schools, The different schools, I will encourage you, if you're not already planning, because I know you're a foresighted person like me, but just sending your team to different schools and letting them know that it's not restricted to just the PNSV people, but it's for everybody.
Yeah.
So just one more ask.
Some of the team members are actually listening, so they're taking notes.
Okay. So, but thank you for all you do. Of course, you know, I'm always here. And of course, my crew will be there for the walk and everything else. Yeah, thank you.
Well, thank you for the support as well, Telvi. Yeah.
Hey, Leo, great show, man. Congratulations. You know, thinking big, being bold, and not be deterred. You know, I mean, these are some of the things we need in order to move that country forward. Like I said, my next trip in Liberia, I will be there. I will get my membership, and I will spend a lot of time there. I'm a guy who walk around with a backpack and a laptop in it. So trust me, I don't need to go to Royal Hotel, Mama Point Hotel, and buy a beer just to get a free internet. So I will be there. And then I mean, some of us are blessed to be on this side, so our kids have access to a lot of these things that you're doing for them. So hopefully, the parents that are listening will take advantage of this to get the kids involved in it.
Children under 13 is free.
Children under 15 is free. When we were in high school. When we were in high school, the only time we saw CNN is when we walk a straight line, Ashmore Street, and go to USIS library for 1 hour and get out there. But now with the internet, you have the world at the tip of your finger, so you can learn anything. You can get exposed to anything you want to do. So, folks, take advantage of it. Kids under 15, free. Leo, congratulations, and we're looking forward to the next 2 stories. Liberia Learning Center. Thank you, buddy.
Yeah, no, thank you. And Tomalin, also thank you once again for the opportunity to share the platform with you all. I will say to you all, we have our drive to hit 5,000 members by the end of the year. So please, it's $20 for the whole year. So even with $100 donation, you can pay for 5 memberships.
I'm sorry, Leo. Let me cut in quickly. If you may have, but there's any way you can also let us have that information where we can also, do engage some of the activity in sponsorship while we're on this side.
I can send it. Yeah, I will post it right away. And Tomalin, I will send you the information. You can do all online. Actually, you don't even need to talk to anybody. You can do it.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah, I would share the information, but even if you just go to empowermentsquared.org, when you go to the donate place, it gives a space for you to indicate what it's for. So once our team gets it on the back end, then they will connect with you and have a conversation about what you want to do. But no, thank you, Tom.
Does it give you the ability to put in the names? Because for my crew, I already told them I'm going to register them. But
so in a comment section, you can put what you want to put. So if you want to put your names, actually, you can put it in the comment.
Okay.
Even if you put the name, somebody from our team will still just connect with you to get clarity around how you want it to be deployed. So yeah, but thank you to everybody. I mean, familiar faces. This is friendly territory. All the faces on here are people that I know. But I would just continue to say my attitude is all of us should do our part within our means. We all got different means. Yeah, I was fortunate to mobilize resources to build a learning center. Somebody else may not be, but have other ways that they can contribute. And I've even said, if your means is supporting your children in your household to become productive citizens of Liberia, that's your means. Focus on it. If your means is helping 2 kids and around the block to have a future, focus on it. But nobody should come and scare anybody here about whether you will run for politics. You're not run. First of all, who are you for me to sit down here and start telling you whether I will have ambition or I will not have ambition? It doesn't work that way. The things we all do in life are the things that shape who we end up becoming. The work you do. Some of us started going to school. We didn't know what we're going to study in university. We have very different ideas of what we thought we're going to study in university. By the time we got there, it was determined based on our trajectory and the things we got exposed to and our experiences. So I think it's a very, very critical question asking people whether they got ambition to run for politics or not. I think the question we should be asking people is, what are your plans for contributing to Liberia? That's a better question. Whether it's through political office, non-political office, whatever it is. But to just assume that the political office thing is a separate, unique thing by itself. So right now when I say, I want to run to be the best CEO in the Republic of Liberia, no problem. I want to be the best executive director in the Republic of Liberia, no problem. I want to become the best pastor in Liberia, no problem. But the moment I say I want to run for office in Liberia, then all of a sudden, we all so my thing is, every aspect of our society that contributes to the development should be looked at as the same way that all Liberians should have equitable access and should always aspire for it, because we never know where our next great leader may come from. So if we already start siloing certain people, we say because you're not into politics, so you might not run for politics, it's for special people, then it becomes a problem. So I said to everybody listening today, take it from Leo Johnson. How can I spend the last 13 to 15 years of my life investing in a country? Then at the same time, tell people, say, no, but me, political office, no ambition, not interested, no. Where you put your money, you put your mouth where your money is. So we will invest in Liberia. If we run for office, we invest. If we don't run for office, we will still invest. Some kind of way we'll keep moving. But thank you, everybody, and appreciate the conversation.
Thank you, Leo, man. Have a nice
Thank you,
one.
Leo.
Yeah.
And please include Vi as one of the languages being taught.
I mean, we will eventually hit all. We are getting instructors as we are getting more instructors coming in.
The Vi language was the first language to be written.
Yeah, except that you only buy people Ebano and you let the people put French in our school. People buy in our school.
No, they were teaching Pele and Lutri school.
That's what talk about. They say nothing. Who you keep running around with it when you never teach it. What Pele they put in our school? How we can be teaching French to our children in our school, but we say we can't put any of our Liberian languages in any of our school.
Yep.
But we managed to convince the French people to bring their language. That's what we can be lying on, not memorize and pass to say we're learning French. But we got Va, we got Gio, we got Pele, we got Crew. We say we're not teach none. But we
can't put Grebo there. We can't put Grebo in there. They know we can put Grebo in there.
I tell you, will come for you on that one.
We can't put Grebo there.
No, man, but thanks, gentlemen. It's actually been a great show. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, thank you, Leo.
Yeah.
Thank you. Grosava.
Guys, before the few minutes we got, let me say this. How to call it? Something happened today. I think there's a story about this police officer who were killed. And I heard the lawmaker driver killed him, right? Is this true? And he was trying to say.
Oh, it was a taxi driver.
No, it was a taxi driver, but there was a different incident with
Yeah,
that was driving that was in a vehicle. He wasn't driving. His driver was driving. He was in a vehicle with ONN license plate, and he was pulled over, and then he was arguing with the police officer why he was pulled over, and saying that he's a representative, they're violating his rights.
I think they missed that thing. What they say when you come in to and from session. I think they can mess it up. I think
but it doesn't mean that you should violate the law. You can be operating a vehicle on a license plate. Then they pull you over. Then you say that. Then you say he was disrespected because after he introduced himself, Representative Marvin Cole, the police officer should have let him go.
Oh, Marvin Cole, he won't say nothing.
Yeah, but there's a video out there. There's a video. If you contact Russell, I think he has the video on Facebook.
And then what you make up of this, the Chief Justice, he said,
well, there's nothing he did wrong. He didn't do anything wrong.
But he's saying that he wasn't wrong, but recommended his son for the president appointment.
Well, okay, he recommended his son. The final decision maker is the office of the president. So the people that did it,
right? And then the guy resigned today, I think.
Yeah, but Tomalin, the appointment came. But I mean, the update is bad. The appointment came from the president. The people in the office of the president should have done the vetting and say, okay, this guy cannot be there, Mr. President. But they get it okay, and the president made an appointment. So you can't bring the Chief Justice. I mean, some people would have done it, but he felt that his son needed a job. So it was the executive management should have said no. He said no. But I mean, they approved it. But if it were the Chief Justice that did the appointment, then I would see the problem. But it wasn't him. So.
He recommended to the president.
Yeah, but he recommended, but he didn't make the appointment.
I mean, is the president can easily look at the recommendation and turn it down? He will not do it.
No, but Tomalin, you see, we had a 3-hour conversation, 3-hour 50-minute conversation, and then you guys come back to say the president can just. That's a separate branch of government. The Chief Justice doesn't work for the president. Look, Tomalin, let me tell you something. We have a country that some 45 years ago, April 12th, we turned the whole country upside down. We said that, It was an oligarchy. It was cronyism. The chief justice, the speaker, and the president, they all acting like one. It was just separate. But it's the same behavior. Look, a real chief justice should only attend state function like State of the Nation address. The chief justice cannot be going to the lighting of the Christmas tree, all those different things. No. Even if the president got an official guest in town, like another head of state, another chief justice business, that's an executive branch function. You know what I mean? So then you just draw that line. I mean, the speaker, the chief justice doesn't need the executive branch to do the work. They're there to interpret the law. And there might be a lot of time the executive branch will be plaintiff or respondent to cases in the Supreme Court. You know what I mean? So you don't have conversation with, you don't do that. Yeah. So the chief justice made a recommendation. The president should have said, no, it's your son. It looks bad. Finish.
Seleke, how about you? What do you think? Isn't Chief Justice, you all right?
No, I think the Chief Justice, based on the clip you played today at the beginning of the show, he named other positions that other government officials have appointed relative to. We have to look into that too. If that is true, then I don't think it's.
Yes, a precedent. He gave yes, it's a precedent. Yes,
no, I think it's happening on this current administration. I think at this current UP government, I think one of the ministry, he did spoke about the video. You get it, you can listen to it again. So if that is true, I don't think. And more besides, the son, the chief justice appointed is unqualified. Because if somebody is qualified, you give them a job. I don't think that's a big deal. If they don't qualify, you get a job, you see a position, then that's a big question. But I agree with Selfa.
I mean, your brother busy. We'll talk. We can call me Sunday.
Okay, no worries.
Yeah, call me Sunday.
And look, can't see in the house.
Tomalin, the chief justice didn't do any appointment. The chief justice didn't do it. The chief justice doesn't appoint judges. I mean, they can reassign them after they get appointed by the president. So, but it was a great show. It was a great show. Our boys.
That 4-year incident, they said that what today the news is that the security forces protecting the place and not even allowing anyone access to the place. So now, but then they think people are thinking about it. I don't know whether it will work, how far long it would take to ask.
Where it's very simple. Tomorrow there's a MICA briefing. Ask the person that will be speaking there tomorrow. It's just as simple as that.
Yeah, well, guys will be there tomorrow.
So there's a MICA briefing and there's an executive management briefing on Sunday. So the forum, the platform is there to ask questions. So then they can get better clarity on that.
We'll answer the question on the thing, right?
But you see, like I told you, but like for the diaspora thing, just what Leo said, they spend a lot of time with many Southern just telling us things that we have heard for years. There was nothing specific. There was nothing specific. Okay, that was not from a policy standpoint. We're going to do this. Like I told you when we had a conversation Sunday evening, we're going to pass a budget, 2026 budget, put in the budget that the government going to invest $10 million in technology, and all these contracts will be for Liberian company. Government, every goods and services under these categories will go to Liberian company only. You know what I mean? I know they will tell you, say, oh, we got certain areas. No. We can't be giving token in our own home. You know, it's like...
You're posting about the digital learning, they said it did, 10,000 students.
Where are they? Where are they?
Well, they were the AI program, the master's program, maybe.
Yeah, but you can't do AI when you don't have. Tomalin, everything is driven off of data. So you got to capture all these everything that happened in the country. You got to get data from somewhere to put it there and model it before you send it to the AI. This whole thing AI is just fast processing with model to do predictive stuff.
Please organize. You can't just people as people want here because
So I hate people because first thing we're not even in the stage of AI yet. You should focus on getting analytics reporting first we even start talking about AI.
You're talking about you lost the people more now.
No, I mean, no, that's simple. I mean, you work with Excel, you can do pivot table, but you got to be pulling that data from somewhere to having a pivot table that will give you, that can give you trends or whatsoever you want to see.
AI on the paper say,
no, man.
You don't.
Let me get going, bro. Let me get going.
Hello. When I did, working on it, look. Anyway, look. I hope I'm in a black. When I read black country guy.
No, but you see, the biggest advantage we have is that we got. I don't want to say we don't have anything. We got very little. So to build something that will meet today's demand, it's easy because then you'll be building with the latest. Whereas in the States, a company are, they continue to upgrade to add the latest. For us, who will be starting with latest technology, but it requires the investment from the government. The problem we have is that all these different technology initiative comes from World Bank, UNDP, and they jump over most of the Liberian company. Because you know what? When they put up the international bidding, the bidding requirement, we can't meet it. So the only company that win it, Ghanaian, Kenyan, Ugandan company win it. So in our own country, the people eating our lunch. So instead of us sitting at the dining room table, no, we are on the menu. They're eating our lunch. So that's the problem. Because the government is not investing in that sector. And technology is not expensive. Technology adds value. So until you can understand the value it adds, it'll be tough for them to invest in it.
Well, we'll keep on trying, my people. We'll keep on trying. One day we'll get it right.
We'll keep on pressing.
Yeah.
Let's get up there because I think the chairman want to do a call.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the chairman wants to do a call.
Okay.
Okay, man. You have a good one.
Okay. Myean, please play the ad before we leave, man. For Torgbean, one more. The internet. Okay. But anyway, again, before we close, I want to say happy birthday again today to former President Myean and Henry Peabody. Hope you guys had a wonderful birthday. Hope you guys celebrated your birthday with your friends and family around you. And we pray for good health and God's blessing upon you. It's good to celebrate your birthday and just give God the glory for all the good things he has done and he's doing for you. So again, happy birthday and talk to you later. Okay, folks. Thank you. Thank you all. Goodbye.